Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Andy Osho and Russell Howard, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start with our round called Headliners. Here's a picture of former Prime Minister Tony Blair and friends, but what does BMIS stand for?
Is it a list of what's in Blair's memoirs? Bragging, moaning and icky sex?
It looks like Prescott, not just John Prescott going, bugger me, I'm starving.
Or is it all the things you'd rather have than read the book? Bulimia, myxomatosis and an itchy scrotum.
Are they all laughing because it's ballistic missiles improve Sunderland?
Prescott looks like he's just bored. He's just running through lists in his head. Bette Midler, I'd shag.
Yeah.
Barry Manilow.
Or is it both Miliband's I'd shag?
I think it's what Blair isn't saying. Believe me, I'm sorry.
Is it Blair, my influences, Satan?
Or is it their nicknames, Brainy, Miserly and Insignificant Sausage Muncher?
When was that ever anyone's nickname? Insignificant sausage man.
Well, strange you should say that.
It's longer than anyone's name.
Is it just simply Blair memoir is shit?
So we're going to have to move towards the correct answer. I'll give you... You're almost halfway there.
Is it Blair's memoirs' incredible sales?
Yes, very well done. Congratulations. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Blair's memoirs' incredible sales. This is a story that ex-Prime Minister Tony Blair has finally published, A Journey, his hotly anticipated account of his time in power. Waterstones claimed it to be their fastest-selling autobiography of all time, outstripping on its first day successful memoirs by celebrities such as David Beckham, Russell Brand and Dawn French. Who doesn't come out of this well?
Brown. But I just don't understand why people are buying it. We've heard it all before.
We've heard it 9 times before.
Like, Blair doesn't get on with Brown. What next? David Blunkett's crap at Wink Murder. We know...
The titles are terrible as well, isn't it?
A Journey.
The title is terrible. A Journey is terrible. They're just so pretentious. A Journey is pretentious. The Third Man by Mandelson, that's pretentious. What you want is John Prescott's Read This or I'll Punch You in the Face. Yeah. That's the kind of title I want.
Also, he went, didn't he? He went his journey. In fact, he went from Islington to Downing Street to Connaught Square in Bayswater. That is not much of a journey. 45 minutes at best. I mean, let's face it, Michael Paling's there going, well, it's not pole to pole.
He said that George Bush was an intelligent man, which is a bit like saying that Joseph Fritzl's a family guy. This is a bloke...
Why has the book been compared to a Mills and Boon?
Because you don't want to read it?
Because there's some racy passages in it.
Yeah, there's racy... him describing him having sex with Cherie, which is... It is grim.
Hey. They're a married couple. OK, we didn't need to know. The actual quote, he said, on that night, I needed that love Cherie gave me selfishly. I devoured it.
Do it real sexy.
I was an animal. Following my instinct. I can't do it.
Your future in audiobooks is not assured.
No one's going to book me to do sexy audiobooks. How are you? Oh, the writing. He was all over like a rash.
Which one a bit about what he was saying about, you know, devouring Cherie and stuff. It was hideous. It was like, imagine your parents dogging. It was wrong. You just didn't want to read it.
What's amazing about this is just the way that journalists have reacted in this mock shock that he should... I mean, he didn't talk sexy like that when he was Prime Minister. No, he was Prime Minister. The Go Compare man doesn't sing the whole time. That's what I think. There's no time when he was going to say during Prime Minister's questions, and I would just like to say to my right honourable friend, Big Tony gonna sort you out, bow, chicka, bow, bow.
But he's basically, he'd been accused of sexing up a dossier, and now he has sexed up a dossier, basically, hasn't he? You went after he's going, oh, I devoured Cherie, or whatever it was. You weren't sure what he was going to put next, I flopped out my weapon of mass destruction. And 45 minutes later, it launched.
It turns out, too, that Cherie is actually her middle name, and her first name is Chim 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 Chimney Chim Chim.
What weakness does Blair reveal?
Mini baby bells. He can't get enough of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
No, he's drinking. It was really hilarious because he said, yeah, I was a bit of a drinker, but all he had was half a bottle of wine a night. My mate once got so drunk he woke up in a river. Half a bottle of Merlot's nothing. My mate thought he was a duck.
Blair was saying in the book that he drank to deal with the pressure, and then he talks about some of the things that he was worried about, including that at the launch night of the Millennium Dome, an acrobat would fall on the Queen's head. That's mad! That's the kind of thing you worry about in a dream. He's a lunatic.
But it is telling. It is always telling, I feel, about a nation's attitude towards alcohol, that everyone went, what? A whiskey and 3 glasses of wine? I'll show him, right? I'll show him what a drink problem is. This is my drink problem, yeah.
This would be the worst AA meeting ever. It'd be so dull as well, because the other... OK, tell us about yourself. Well, Duncan's basically, he's lost his kids, he's found himself homeless on the street. How about you, Tony? Well, first of all, hi, guys. Occasionally, I have a second glass of wine after dinner. Group hug.
Although, in fairness, his drinking did lead to invading a country.
Yeah, which makes the UN the international equivalent of a woman in a car park going, leave him, Tarek, he's nowhere there!
The UN made him the Middle East peace envoy after he'd started 2 wars in the Middle East. It would be like making the woman who chucked that cat in a wheelie bin an RSPCA inspector. As Prime Ministers go, it's nothing, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Churchill used to have a bottle of champagne for lunch, have another one apparently in the evening,
Yep.
have 3 scotches, 2 brandies and a highball. So you think, well, it's no wonder he didn't want to appease Hitler, was it? He was well up for a scrap, wasn't he?
Yeah, but to be fair, no, what people forget about Churchill, when Churchill was doing the we shall fight them on the beaches, yeah, he was 25 at the time. that lifestyle, he died at 32. That lifestyle really... yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't go, oh, we're going to fight them on the beaches and we'll fight them in the pubs, outside the pubs, in the kebab shops.
In the nightclub.
If they look at our women, we'll twat them there.
We're in a late-night garage and we want more fags.
Churchill, that he said later in life his greatest regret was never winning the Second World War. Didn't remember a thing.
He also, let's be honest, he looked quite like you.
And you are...
That was regarded as an insult.
Say it in... No, he did. I'd say that as a compliment.
Yeah,
Try
you would take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
He was a
we will
big
fight
round
them on
man.
the beaches. Yeah. Say that.
We will fight them on the beaches.
Don't sound like the Churchill dog.
That was Tommy Cooper. We will fight them.
Tommy Cooper.
Who is that?
I don't know who that is, but I think they've usually got a carer with them.
Yeah.
Say this. Never in the field of human conflict.
I'm not doing Churchill impersonations for you.
Do sexy Churchill.
Sexy Churchill. I will fight you on the beach. Why has William Hague been in the news recently?
He's come out and said he's not gay. And
Do
Cameron...
I rethink the wording of that sentence exactly?
Nope, not at all.
That's all fine?
William Hague this week said he wasn't gay, and Cameron hardly helped matters by saying the entire Tory party were behind him. Probably a better way of putting that. I felt so sorry for all he was doing was sharing a room with his mate. It's not as if he was watching Pineapple Studios rubbing his nipples.
It wasn't quite his mate, though, was it? It was a special advisor, and you're wondering how good was the special advisor, how good was the advice that he was giving him. Oh, you wear a baseball cap, you wear wraparound shades, and what's more, book a twin room and put me in it.
But the thing is, guys, come on, let's not... We share a room when we're on tour, don't we?
No.
Yeah, we do. Don't lie.
No, we don't.
Me, Andy, Hugh are in one bed, Dara's in the other.
Let's be honest, though, we're topping and tailing.
We are. Well, but it is ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, come on.
It is ludicrous.
I mean, in fairness, I wouldn't sleep in the same room as any one of my mates because I'd wake up with no eyebrows and the word pedo on my face. So...
If
Well,
I
that
had
would have
known...
been a great political story if he'd woken up with the one eyebrow.
Just him walking
Peter.
into PMQs with a Hitler moustache. I can explain this.
I didn't even want to do this. Is the, that it was embarrassing, that picture of him walking around with the sunglasses. Although he has suppressed this picture, and we're very proud to show. This is,
So what? Even if they shared the same bed, I share a bed with a woman. Does that make me a lesbian? No. Admittedly, it might eventually make her one, but that is not the same.
But this is the man who earns £400,000 a year. What on earth is he doing sharing a room? That just seems massively tight-fisted, doesn't it?
Some of us get night terrors, all right? So what's funny about that is there's a goblin under my bed!
These rumours apparently followed him around since he was in university.
Right.
And he came on the national stage at 16, speaking at the Tory conference, the youngest ever person to address the Tory conference. And then later the rumours came up that he's got no, he doesn't have many female companions. He said, yeah, but he's like a political dork who went bald in his 20s. That does not scream fanny magnet. At the best of times. God love him. That's what he looks like in the team. It's not his fault, Take it from a nerd who lost his hair early. Yeah, you're fighting a difficult game at the best of times, aren't you?
I've been reading about Hague, and apparently he has to compete with Rotterdam as a port.
Okay, at the end of that round, the points go to Chris Hugh and Milton. Now we play a round called Wayne Rooney's Threesome of Fun. This game involves Milton, Andy and Andy, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is politics. Who wants to come in on that? Andy.
All right, so it's been a pretty amazing time for black people in politics. There's a lot of black women who are becoming movers and shakers in politics. We've got Una King going up for Labour candidacy for the mayoral election. We've got Diane Abbott. She's got 33 nominations. She's going up for Labour leadership. Doesn't stand a chance. But good luck to you. And, of course, we've got Floella Benjamin is in the House of Lords. Now, I know what you're thinking. How the hell did she get in there? Like, through the round window? It's true. Now, I think we've shown that, obviously, we're up for change. We've shown we've got a sense of humour as well. That is the only way that Boris Johnson could have possibly got himself elected. But I had a lovely story about Boris Johnson, about him and his dad. Apparently, they look very similar. And his dad also likes riding a bike. And his dad was out one day riding his bike. And some random geezer just shouted at him, "Oi, Johnson, you wanker." And he went, "I think you mean my son." Which I thought was lovely.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is security. You want to talk about this? Andy Parsons.
That dog looks excited, doesn't he? Do you think some old lady's trapped a cat in the suitcase? They did describe, right, the Times Square bomber as amateurish. Now, the reason for this was apparently he used non-explosive fertiliser. He hadn't created a bomb, he basically created a garden in the back of his SUV. If he was a suicide bomber, if he pulled his jacket, a little bit of compost would have just trickled down his leg. Some people, they think that Osama bin Laden is in fact dead. I don't think he's dead. I think we'll know when Osama bin Laden's dead. It'll be when Al-Qaeda release all of his videos as a box set.
OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. Subject is school.
When I was 5 years old, my teacher asked me if I wanted to take the school guinea pig home. 7 months later, I arrived in the African Republic of Guinea. My parents didn't know where I was. The British consulate wouldn't help. And my space hopper had a puncture. I was at school, I spent half my time afraid of things like fractions. Oh. Well, I say half my time. It's not easy for teachers, though. I mean, where do you stand? You stand at the front of the class where you can write on the board, but you can't see the children. Or do you stand at the back where you can see the children, but you can't write on the board? I mean, no one's been able to solve that dilemma. Not by a long chalk. When I was young, I baked an apple tart. I took it to Leeds, Liverpool and Reading. All because my maths teacher said, make sure you take pi to 3 dismal places.
Thank you very much. And that round, point to Nipple Jones. Come on back. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Andy, which category would you like?
Sport, please.
OK, sport is your category. The answer is 3. What is the question?
Is it the viewing figures for the Women's Rugby World Cup? If you added 2?
Is it the number of North Korean players who got home safely after the World Cup?
Is it what age is too young to be on Twitter? Just done a shit, LOL.
Is it how many sugar babes now have diabetes?
Is it how long does a game of I Spy take in seconds for a group of Chilean miners?
Saturday Jane. Is it Javier again? It is Javier again.
Is it how many steps to heaven have been replaced by a wheelchair ramp?
How many people in Britain last year paid the right amount of tax?
Is it how many livers did George Best get through? He liked liver.
He liked it.
Or is it how old was the boy who made my trainers? It's a joke. I'm wearing hush puppies.
Is it how many Facebook friends have I got?
Is it what is the minimum membership level for a Musketeers club?
It really wouldn't work. All for one and you for me.
Is it in fact, on a Dulux colour chart, how many oranges are there that are in fact slightly brighter than Christine Bleakley's face?
Wow, the minute you leave the BBC, you're dead to us. That's the way that works. Dead to us, Christine. I want to do the correct answer. I know the correct answer.
Is it allegedly the number of deliberate no balls the Pakistanis bowled in the last Test match?
Yes, that's absolutely right. Well done, Andy Patterson. The question I was looking for was how many no balls were allegedly delivered to order by Pakistan cricketers in a 150 grand betting scam uncovered by the News of the World. This is the news that Pakistan cricketers Salman Butt, Mohammad Asif and Mohammad Amir have been suspended by the International Cricket Council after the News of the World claimed to have uncovered an alleged betting scam set up by London-based fixer Mazhar Majid and said that he let the paper in on the match fixing scam in return for 150 grand.
But it's a no ball, isn't it? It's effectively a foot fault. If you're betting on foot faults, you have got a gambling problem. Yeah. I mean, you think that people would spot that, wouldn't you? I mean, let's face it, if you went into William Hill, right, and you said, oh, I think Andy Murray is going to do a foot fault in the 4th point of the 3rd game of the 2nd set, wouldn't the person behind the counter go, that's a bit suspicious?
Is it a bit specific? For this, we only need is a score, mate. Thanks very much.
I think it's absolutely astonishing that it's kind of sad in a way that there are people out there who are willing to bet on the fact that, you know, watch cricket for long enough to see if no balls have been bowled during a Test match. You can also bet on how many friends they've got and the last time they managed to talk to a girl. Yeah. It's the tedious bet.
As if cricket isn't dull enough anyway, you're looking for dull things within a dull sport. Yeah. They've done a no ball within the dullness. That's like eating a vegan barbecue whilst listening to Dido. You can't get any duller.
There are greater allegations, aren't there? They're saying that there's a chance that they actually threw one of the matches against Australia last winter. And you're thinking, my goodness me, we have just lost them in the 3rd Test match. If it turns out that they were match fixing, we've just actually been trying to beat them and we lost to a team that quite possibly were trying to throw the match. How are we?
Stop hitting the ball! I'm throwing it underarm. I'm throwing it in the most girlish way. Stop hitting the damn ball!
I think people are taking it a bit, sort of making it like it's really extreme or something. Because someone said in the papers as well, this is the worst crime a sportsman can commit. I'm thinking, try telling O.J. Simpson's wife that.
Well, it got me. There was a quote in one of the papers, I think it was the News of the World, said a thing about in this terrible time for Pakistan, which obviously it is the moment, in this terrible Pakistan, while their nation was struggling with a huge disaster, these 4 men were defiling the traditions at Lord's. And you're going, yeah, because that's really what the people of Pakistan are worried about at the moment. Yes, we have no possessions and our home's been washed away, but as long as the home of cricket remains bound with integrity, that's the most important thing to us here.
It's absolutely extraordinary. They paid 150 grand for the story, though, when normally they just hack into the players' voicemails. Don't they? Paying nothing for it at all.
I tell you what's scary as well, going into a betting shop. I mean, I'm not an alpha male. You just walk in, you're like, hello, I'd like to bet on the National. And all the men look massive. They're made even bigger by the fact they're holding tiny pens. You see the little pen going, I wish I worked in Argos.
Yeah, that one day the Grand National, you do feel like, I'd like to bet on a horse, please. Which one has the prettiest name?
Want to do it each way? Did I come back?
Why was Wayne Rooney in trouble this week?
Wayne Rooney allegedly, Dara, had sex with a prostitute.
Yes, allegedly,
I cannot wait for the songs that will come from the crowd straight away, because that's exactly what it'll be. Wayne Rooney shagged a whore, and we all thought he couldn't score. His wife's going to take his money from the bank. Next time, Wayne, just have a wank.
I think that's great, but I think it's quite long for your average football supporter. She also said that, didn't she? She said she wouldn't have sex with him in his own house out of respect for Colleen.
Yeah.
And that's a woman with standards, ladies and gentlemen.
He allegedly paid £1,000 for sex. £1,000. There's girls in Norwich who'll do it for chips. That is just a complete waste. But it speaks volumes about how ugly Rooney is. He's a multi-millionaire footballer. He still has to pay for sex. But please touch me penis. It's going to cost you, Shrek. You know? It's brutal.
I think the real problem now is that there's going to be people in Norwich watching this going, oh, I'm just going to go out to the fish and chips shop.
6 packs of chips, please.
I'll tell you how middle class I am. When I saw the headline on News of the World, cheating Rue beds hooker, I thought Kanga's going to be furious.
The other thing as well is he's got, because it was listing like all his earnings and what might be compromised because of what's happened, and he's got a £5 million book deal. Like, who wants a book by Wayne Rooney?
No,
do you know what I mean? What does it say?
Like, do you know he's written 2 already? And they have sold.
I know, I can't get... Like, what does it say in there? Like, scored a goal, banged a prosy. Chapter 2. Scored a goal, banged a prosy. Chapter 3. Swallowed a Lego.
One of my favourite things is people say, oh, he's going to lose his sponsorship. You know, the papers say he's going to lose his sponsorship money. Like, kids aren't going to buy Coke because Rooney cheated. I'm really thirsty, but I just don't believe in sex outside wedlock.
OK. Game of that round. The points go to Russell, Andy and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to read in a political memoir.
So we were playing Truth or Dare, and I didn't want to tell the truth, so I shagged Edwina Curry.
Big Ben struck 12 and stopped. Thank God. My buttocks were on fire.
I thought I'd pressed the button that summoned the tea lady. Imagine my surprise when it turned out I bombed Russia.
I think the greatest thing about meeting the Queen was listening to him singing Candle in the Wind.
Yeah.
Say what you like about Robert Mugabe, but that moustache makes all the difference to foreplay.
I suspected that John Prescott was having an affair when the four legs of his desk came through the ceiling above me.
I was actually at college with Saddam Hussein. We were at Sussex together doing chemistry and combined inhumanities.
At the start, there were 3 women in the cabinet, 5 in the cellar and 2 under the patio.
Deciding to go to war was one of the tensest games of eeny, meeny, miny, mo I have ever played.
We'd sometimes break up boring cabinet meetings by convincing David Blunkett he was black.
Oh, when we got into Bosnia, the first thing we did was get the United Nations troops setting up trestle tables with plates of cheese straws and sausage rolls. But it turns out we were supposed to provide a buffer, not a buffet.
John Prescott, a book by me.
Take that, you bastard, he said. No one fucks with Mahatma Gandhi.
The next topic is things you wouldn't hear in a medical documentary.
I know you're a teenage mother, but nobody will patronise you here. Come through to the slag ward.
Next, he was put in a CAT scanner. Unfortunately, the cat was still in it.
And so Nick Griffin comes round after the face transplant, and that's not the colour he was expecting.
OK, now cough, and cough again. OK, yeah, I've got the diagnosis. Got a cough.
Eventually, doctors had to break his leg in 6 places. It was the only way to stop him running round the ward, the little tosser.
34% of people in this country have irritable bowel... Oh, sorry.
What this attractive patient doesn't realise is Dr. Singh was struck off years ago.
Brian is 75 stone. He hasn't left the house for 3 years. What a fat bastard.
After months of tests, doctors finally discovered what had caused his blindness. He'd been masturbating too much.
Today we're attempting a slightly difficult operation. What we're hoping to do is remove the Adam's apple with a pair of tweezers without the patient's nose flashing red.
Tara removes her top to reveal a hideous skin infection. Look away now if you're eating Rice Krispies.
The Siamese twins were joined in the most embarrassing place imaginable and known by friends as the skipping rope.
Points go to Russell, Andy and Andy. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Andy Osho and Russell Howard. Commiserations to Chris Anderson, Hugh Jones and Milton Jones. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
Coming up after Newsnight, blistering medical comedy Nurse Jackie at 11:20 here on BBC Two. And right now, the laughs are rolling with BBC Three, and the King is dead.
welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Ed Byrne and Mickey Flanagan, Miles Jupp, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. No, there's no Russell Howard tonight or for the next few weeks because he's off working on the next series of his show for BBC Three. But we start, as ever, with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Labour leadership contenders, but what does LBIT stand for?
Is it local boy band includes transvestite?
Is it lady? Is it lady between identical twits?
Is it my dyslexic friend's favourite sandwich?
Fish fingers?
Is it about Diane Abbott's dress? Is it leopard butchered into toga?
Is it lads, boys, introducing Token? Politics there. Politics there.
On a similar note, liking Blair is treason.
On a funnier note,
You've got to back it up now.
is it, look, Barack initiated this. The people have spoken.
Are they going for the youth vote? Is it Labour blinging in it ting?
Is it an advert? Is it L'Oreal because I'm turgid?
Is it to do with the white streak in David Miliband's hair? Is it, look, it's a badger, I'm telling you?
Do you know what the correct answer is?
I'm looking at... Well, it's... on the left there, they've got red ties, and on the right, they've got blue. I'm thinking Labour becoming increasingly Tory. Oh, we've got this leadership battle is tightening.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you that if you want. Yeah, that's close enough. Well done, Mickey Flanagan. That's close enough. The answer I was leadership battle increasingly tight. This is the news that the race to become the next Labour leader is going to be an extremely close call. As the contest enters its final week, the latest YouGov poll for the Sunday Times has put Ed Miliband ahead of his brother David, but only just. Ed comes out on top. Only after voters' second preferences are considered, with David leading earlier on. But frankly, I could have substituted any of those names at any stage during that sentence for all you would have cared. One of them is going to win. Has the race grabbed you?
No.
It's frightening us in the East End because we've been here before when we've had two brothers trying to look for power. And it can get very nasty, I'm sure.
It is a shame, though, isn't it? You've got two brothers fighting it out, and you're thinking you surely should do what, parents do with brothers anyway. You should let them share it, and if they can't share it nicely, neither of them should have it. And there's only one thing that it should happen then. The Labour leadership should go to a charity shop.
If my surname was Miliband, I would not name either of my sons Ed or David. I would call one of them at least the Steve. So they would be the Steve Miliband.
If you were fighting your brother for something, wouldn't you? You would be tempted, if it all got down to being a bit dirty, you'd be tempted to go, well, I am the right man for the job, I've got the right answers on the economy, and what's more, out of the two of us, I wasn't the one aged 13 caught cracking one off to Buffy the Vampire. You wouldn't say that, though, would you?
We need someone with leadership. We need someone with vision, someone who's going to take the bold decisions. You do not want someone who was 17 before he touched his first boob.
No, I think we need much more you at the bed. But how has it become personal?
It's all gone a bit nasty with one of the brothers saying that the other one was like Forrest Gump.
Do you want to take a guess?
He was very successful, though, wasn't he?
Is the one on the right the one that looks more like Forrest Gump?
Apparently, it was reported in the Telegraph the week, it's what's being said in David Miliband's camp that Ed is Forrest Gump. Now, whether it's the physical resemblance to Forrest Gump or his tendency to attend historic world events and not really know what's going on.
Is it because he said in his conference speech, he said what Labour needs is Boba shrimp?
But it is the Forrest Gump was one thing, it is. People fear that the family, they couldn't work for each other if one of them won. That's all going to get very personal.
Has Jedward not taught us anything?
In that famous book, Jed wrote A Lesson from History. Seriously, but why? Seriously, Jedward, why?
They're screaming.
On behalf of the Irish nation. No, seriously, why?
So, Ed's camp have been calling David a geek, haven't they? And he has said, I'm not a geek, and I'll answer that question in a minute. I'm just playing World of Warcraft.
Who's been lending their support to David Miliband?
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. Now, if you want to kill any impression that you're a geek, don't get Captain Picard to be your most notable supporter. Like,
You can imagine Patrick Stewart coming here going, he's the candidate set to stun.
I believe he will reduce the deficit at warp factor 3. It's not just him, though, is it? It's there's him,
Ross Kemp.
and there's Ross Kemp.
Ross Kemp?
Ross Kemp supporting David Miliband.
Phil Mitchell's supporting the other one.
We just hope that he's not giving. If Ross Kemp is giving them advice on how to get on again after their relationship has collapsed, you're in big trouble, aren't you? Well, I'll tell you how to do it, David. What you do is you sleep with his missus. You're planning an armed robbery. Don't forget to shoot us. Remember, blood is thicker than water, you slag!
Why were you never in EastEnders?
Me? Well, listen to my voice. I
think of an episode where a landowner comes around.
One of you, I don't know which, has been stealing my pheasants.
Could be a Christmas special, couldn't it? It's interesting you should say that, though, but if you look at Andy Burnham, right, Ed Balls and the Miliband brothers, they're all white male and middle class, you know, and basically you've even now got David Cameron last week saying that he was middle class. This is the man who's actually married to the daughter of a baronet, went to Eton and is a cousin of the Queen. And I think if he's middle class, most of us are halfway up a chimney going, just a little bit.
Sadly, Ed Ball's biggest celebrity backer is me. I've always been behind Balls. I am now.
Well, Ed Balls, you know, Ed Balls is most well known for being Gordon Brown's closest political ally.
Yes.
Good luck with that one, then. More chance of him becoming leader than, you know, a member of Hitler Youth becoming head of the Catholic Church.
I know. Other news, what's going on here?
Is it the gay porn version of the Blair Witch Project?
Is it a Paris Hilton sex tape directed by Ken Loach?
Either the Chilean miners that are stuck down the Chilean mine, appropriately enough.
Certainly a lot of people have been watching this over the summer and thinking, my goodness me, Chilean Big Brother is a little bit extreme.
Yesterday's footage of the... Well, there's 33 miners down there, only 32 of whom are Chilean, actually. Sorry. There's one Bolivian as well.
The other one has a jumper.
They're chilly!
If one of your loved ones is down there, you can now get state aid in Chile. And apparently for one of the miners, he's had 4 women claiming to be his loved one. So he's now going to be nervous to come to the surface, isn't he? Going, you can come out, and you go, no, I'm staying down here. Much safer down here.
Do you know the weirdest place they've received a message of support from?
Joseph Fritzl's place?
Not Fritzl's.
Is it other miners from Australia?
No. No, they dug through. Oh, hello. No, they've got a message of support from the astronauts on the International Space Station, who are in a similar-ish kind of a situation because they're up there and they're down there, and you know. I don't know how far that friendship can go. When one are up and the other are down, if they all get together for a party and go,
The thing is, as well, they're being sent cigarettes, they're having music sent down, films. They're having a better time than most people in Wetherspoons.
Actually, they sent a message of support to people in Wetherspoons from...
Cheer up.
It is a serious issue, but and they're in great discomfort, which I hardly think is going to be alleviated by the fact that they're being sent down things like a picture of Elvis. Which was one of the things that was sent down the tube to them, was a photograph of Elvis.
Well, there was a note from somebody's family saying, don't worry, you'll be as famous as Elvis, is what they
but
wrote.
you can just imagine, oh, what have they managed to send down thousands of feet through the tiny hole? Oh, look what it is. Oh, it's a picture of Elvis. Great. Any chance you could maybe send down a picture of a woman, maybe? Because we're all starting to look pretty good to each other down here.
Apparently they're not going to get paid while they're down there.
No.
And I don't know who has screwed more miners, either the Chilean government or the Catholic Church.
Very good. The point at the end of that round go to Miles, Hugh and Stuart. Now we play a round called The Wheels on the Popemobile Go Round and Round. This game involves Stuart, Mickey and Miles. If you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel for the first topic. The first subject is transport. Who wants to come in that? Miles.
Yes, transport, public transport. Why is public transport so horrendous? Well, the clue is in the question, isn't it? It's the public. You're horrific. I don't take public transport terribly often, but sometimes I do it for a dare. Some friends and I once had a competition to see who could stay for the longest on a night bus without vomiting. Although, once I got on the bus, it was quite clear that all the other passengers were involved in a similar competition. None of them were doing terribly well. My seat had a sign next to it saying, "This seat is particularly appreciated by the elderly and infirm." Yeah, certainly smelt like it. Now, what a journey. Every time somebody pressed the stop button, it pinged. The oik sitting next to me stood up because he thought his McCain's microwavable chips were ready. Brutal. Anyway, while I've been speaking, I imagine a lot of the ladies in here have been looking at me. Possibly, you know, you're thinking, is he or isn't he? Well, I've got to be honest with you, ladies. I am looking for a cleaner.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is marriage. Who wants to come in on that? Stuart.
I'm not married. If I was married, would I be able to do this? For that long? I am married. My wife and I met at a castanet class where we clicked. That's not entirely funny. No, we actually met in a museum, and the rest is history. 14 more. No, we actually met at a driving range where we hit it off. Can't be true. No, we actually met in a library. That's novel. No, actually, Wayne Rooney introduced us. It was a no-brainer. I'm only kidding. I'm not married. I am married. That's why I'm wearing the ring. Oh, no. It must have fallen off in that hooker. Anybody who's married knows what I'm talking about when I say this, that you really find out about someone after you marry them. Like, for example, my wife doesn't have a peanut allergy. No, it turns out she has a penis. That's it, she has a penis.
OK, that leaves us with Mickey. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the subject is parenting.
A few years ago, my wife and I had a baby. Well, we didn't have it straight away. We had to cook it up for a little while. And so she suggested we go to these classes run by the National Childbirth Trust in our local area. They're very middle-class antenatal classes. They're run by this fascist breastfeeding woman. Who's basically, you can go to her home on a Tuesday night. She's breastfeeding her 9-year-old son during the session. awkward. All the men are checking the coving out. It's come away up there because they should have put glue both sides. That's... No, she's still doing it. What are you going to do? And, I think by week 4, she's running out of ideas, so she started on the men. She said, I'm going to ask the men this evening, the men. The men are coming on board. How might they benefit by giving birth to the baby themselves? Can we talk about those benefits? Now, there's 6 of us in a circle. I'm in trap 3. Not the best position, the worst one either. Chap number 1's in the best position. He said, if you gave birth to the baby yourself, he said you'd have an empathy with womankind and her struggle over the centuries, creating a greater relationship with your partner. I was thinking, oh, cobblers, I was going to use that one. Chap number 2 dug in, fair enough. He said, well, if you gave birth to the baby yourself, he said you'd have a bond with the child at a more primeval, physical level. Started crying. Nice touch. Mother Earth looked at me, I'm having a panic attack. It's all gone a bit hazy. She said, Michael? I said, well, at least you'll be 100% sure it was yours.
OK, the end of that round. Forrest, going to make it time again. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Miles, which category would you like?
Home news, please.
OK, your category is home news. The answer is animals, candles and alcohol. What is the question?
What things do you roughly require for an evening of amateur flambeing?
What is a cracking night out in Weston-super-Mare?
Is it describe Susan Boyle's birthday party? Is it her birthday? Come on.
Is it what's Lady Gaga wearing this week?
Is it what are the first 3 aisles in the Kazakhstan Lidl?
What 3 things can you now fit up Ricky Hatton's nostrils?
Yeah, you said that to him if you want.
What are the only things that a young Conservative remembers about his initiation ceremony?
Is it the chapter in Dara's book that details his honeymoon?
Is it name 3 things you shouldn't put in a Buddhist?
What is the most poorly named Earth, Wind and Fire tribute act?
Is it the new Credit Crunch pizza at Pizza Express?
And you got the right answer.
Yeah, I think this is a part of a list of things that you're not allowed to take to the Pope's prayer meeting in Hyde Park.
That's correct. Very good. Well done. Thank you very much, Hugh. Dennis. The question I was looking for was, what items are amongst those banned from the public events that Pope Benedict XVI will host during his visit to the UK? The items have been banned because they are considered to be a threat to others. The 4-day papal visit, which began today, is the first in 28 years and will see the Pope taking a whistle-stop tour of the UK, visiting Edinburgh, Glasgow, London and Birmingham.
I love the fact that they're considered a threat to others, but Catholic priests are allowed in.
It's a weird list. It says you can't take barbecues because there's going to be a picnic. You have to actually bring your own picnic, for those of you who thought that the Pope might bring 5 loaves and 2 fishes.
And the other thing is, if the Pope sees all that white smoke coming out, he'll think they found somebody else.
You can't bring whistles. You can't. But it doesn't, party wreckers, don't despair. You can take a vuvuzela.
You're not allowed to bring whistles because apparently the Pope still suffers from shell shock from the war, although you feel less sympathetic when you know which side he was fighting on.
Another thing on the list was gazebos. Gazebos? Who does the Pope think is pilgrims are? A bunch of mindless fools?
Well, he does look in that photograph like he might... I don't know if he's praying or whether he's saying, the man from Del Monte, he say yes.
All we hear is... Although, may I mention, Freddie Mercury is burning in hell as we speak.
Which celebrities will be involved?
Tony Blair's going to meet him, apparently.
Yes.
Tony Blair. I mean, given that there's so many protests against Tony Blair and there's going to be protests against the Pope, having them two of them together could be quite interesting, couldn't it? You know, the Blairs there talking to the Pope and all these shoes are coming over, eggs coming over, and the Pope's going, piss off! Popular than I am!
You're dragging me down here, man. You're dragging me down. I'm doing all right here. I'd manage to get over the Nazi paedophilia thing. Then Blair... Tony Blair is actually... One of the things that Tony Blair's going to do, along with attending beside him, is he's going to apparently have confession with the Pope. You know? What are the chances he's going to say anything at all? The Pope's going to go, have you confessed any sins? And Blair will just go, look, the evidence that we had at the time...
Well, they're all going to be protests, aren't they? I mean, he has come out and said he thinks condom use is sinful. And you think, this is the man who's never had sex. How come he's advising how people should have sex? It would be like me advising people about shampoo. It's an idiotic idea, isn't it?
I would love to see that ad.
Well, I mean,
because I'm worth it. Oh, the Pope. The Pope. And also Winston Churchill. What two essentials is the Pope bringing to Britain?
Oh, now, he's bringing two... I think this is right.
Is he bringing candles and alcohol?
He's bringing two identical Pope-mobiles.
Yes.
And in the back of one, there's a sticker that says, my other Pope-mobile is a Pope-mobile.
There are two Pope-mobiles that he has, which apparently can do 160 miles an hour, but probably not when you add that box to the top of it. Hilarious. Okay. Hold on there, Papa.
Can you imagine how young the Pope would look if it suddenly accelerated to 160 miles an hour?
Also, we go a lot faster than that if people weren't chasing it to get the ice cream.
I hope he's got a nice loud stereo for this, for when he does the Peckham part of the route.
It also does that rolling. It just basically
There's a light comes on under the...
Yeah, what's happening, man? What merchandise on sale in conjunction with the Pope?
I'm hoping it's the same lot as last time. Last time he came, there was unofficial merchandise. There was obviously it was in the 80s, wasn't it? It came, and you could buy soap called Pope on a Rope. And there was a garden sprinkler system called Let Us Pray.
The funds will keep going. Along with the tangent, because the Catholic Church loves a bit of merchandising. They you know, from relics down, they love a bit of merchandising. But this is the Benedictophone. You can record messages onto. What a lovely country. I haven't been here since the war. What a lovely country. I haven't been here since the war. And you can also get a make-your-own Pope-mobile. So, come back. I missed my good. Don't go away, please. Oh, hello. That looks demonic. Hello. It is worth noting that when this gets broadcast, the Pope is actually in the country at the moment and maybe sitting in a hotel room after a long gig. It's still on the television. What's this? Greetings in Papa. Oh, no, So that's the points go to Mickey and Mandy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely lines to hear in a kids' film.
Oi, Shrek! Have you been upsetting Colleen again by shagging those prostitutes?
Garfield, what are you doing in that bin?
E.T., I'm pregnant.
Where's Nemo? Look inside the batter.
I'm terribly sorry. I'll just put my clothes back on. I thought you said chitty chitty gangbang.
Mr. Von Trapp, I'm here from the council. We've had complaints about some terrible singing coming from your house.
So, he asked all 5 of you if you would like to look round his chocolate factory, did he?
Mary Poppins, I arrest you on suspicion of supercalifragilistic sex trafficking.
King of the Swingers, nice to meet you. I'm King of the Doggers.
Wow, Nanny McPhee, that was not the Big Bang I was expecting.
I am Bambi, son of a murdered mother, husband of an endangered doll. I will have my vengeance in this rifle.
OK, the next topic is things you wouldn't hear in a cookery show.
No, that's definitely a poodle.
Today I brought along chicken tonight, but I'm going to have it tomorrow. Smash the system.
So finally, just pour on the milk, and there you have it. Cereal.
And remember, you must eat the brain to get their power.
A lot of people recommend washing your hands after handling raw meat, but it's just as easy to let a dog lick them or to wipe them on a relative.
Golden, relax. We're doing a bit of dinner, mate. You're not sorting out the Middle East here.
So just boil for 15 minutes, and if there's still life in her, she's a witch.
Welcome to It's Late and There's Not Much Left in the Fridge. Today we're going to be making onion double cream banana pasta ketchup.
The unique flavour of the sausages is from a recipe from my wife.
Sir, if you want to give your bar snacks that genuine pub feeling, why not sprinkle them with urine?
I'm Jamie Oliver, and in my new series, I'm going to be travelling the length and breadth of the UK in a VW camper. Welcome to Cock O'Van.
And believe me, these fried insect legs really are the bee's knees.
Today I'm going to be making prune and sweet corn chickpea couscous, because I like to give my bowels a challenge.
Next, the ginger pudding. Anthony Worrell Thompson, what are you going to be cooking for us tonight?
So, I've been beating away for half an hour, but I'm just lonely. Let's get on with the cooking.
OK, here at the point go to Mickey, Ed and Andy. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Miles Jupp, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Ed Byrne and Mickey Flanagan. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
Louis Walsh ruling the nation? Well, it's one of the options in The King is Dead over on BBC Three now. And don't forget, Rob Brydon's only gone and got his own show. It's here on BBC Two tomorrow at 10. A peek at what's to come next.
Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Kevin Bridges and Patrick Kilty, and Russell Kane, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture from this week's Lib Dem conference, but what does CDCR stand for?
Is it Clegg's dandruff causes riot?
Is it Clegg demands cardboard rain?
Is it Cameron dies, Clegg rejoices?
Is it Clegg displays currency remaining?
Is it because they're in Liverpool? Is it, in fact, calm down, calm right down?
Is it Celine Dion combusts reaction?
I'm going to go for Clegg, David Cameron's rent boy.
Small amount of skirting around the issue which Kevin has cut through quite dramatically.
Is it Cranberry's definite cystitis remedy?
Is it... Why would they use that photograph? Like, I don't understand, how bad was Clegg's cystitis before that?
I don't know, but it must have been pretty bad. I mean...
I've got it, Dara.
Yeah.
Is it conference disco concludes with river dance?
No, what is the correct answer?
Is it Clegg defends coalition rule?
Indeed it does. Well done. Thank you very much. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Clegg defends coalition role. This is the news that the Lib Dem leader Nick Clegg has faced criticism at the Lib Dem conference from party activists who are plagued by self-doubt and anxious about the party's future. But he's defended his role in the coalition and told party members to hold their nerve. How have the Lib Dem party members been reacting?
Oh, they're furious. They've been shaving their beards off and wearing their sandals without their socks, and they've been writing Clegg as a traitor on the wall of the conference centre in their own hummus.
Actually, it's not how the Liberals have reacted, it's how the Conservatives have reacted. They've been watching the television all week thinking why the work experience people got their own conference. That's the... It's not actually going terribly well for the Lib Dems, because Clegg's poll ratings now show that he is more popular with the opposition than with his own side, which makes him the Robert Greene of politics.
There's a party activist described him as a mini-me conservative when he went to it. And another party stalwart said, I would trust you with my life, but can I trust you with my party? It's a rather screwed-up sense of priorities, to be honest. It's only the Lib Dems at the end of the day, you know?
But apparently it's half their support has gone, hasn't it? And they're all saying it's because they've supported these spending cuts. They're basically talking that they're spending, you know, cutting too quickly and will now go into this double-dip recession. And you're thinking, double dip? You know, that is a term that is only ever used by economists and greedy people with nachos.
The support are losing. Surely that's just people who came to them from Labour anyway, thinking, well, if I vote for them, I'm practically voting for Labour. So it's a very clever, tactical... What? No, wait, no! My master plan! Don't go to the Conservatives. You're not allowed to... Oh, you are allowed to do that.
What's amazed me is that Nick Clegg seems to be soaking up, even though he's becoming ever more unpopular. How broken do you have to be by your former unpopularity to savour any attention, even if it's negative? That's like a fat, ugly girl being sexually assaulted behind a Lidl and then coming out and going, it's just nice to get the attention.
That is the chair Frankie sat in, isn't it?
It is. I've literally never had those thoughts before.
You're like a whimsical comedian, aren't you?
They were saying that Cameron was actually going to turn up at the conference as a sign of, you know, support. And then they realised that might be a bad idea. You know, Cameron turning up at the Liberal Democrat conference is a bit like Leona Lewis showing up at the Mobos with Nick Griffin. It's not really going to cut it.
I like the idea of lots of Tories sneaking into the convention and going, well, we're in a coalition now, we might as well take some tuck along and have a day out, and then hear him talk about rescuing the poor and start heckling with quail's eggs. Take that, you Liberal. Have a tomato, that sunglass, you wanker. Take that
How are Clegg and Cameron getting along, by the way?
They're getting on tremendously well.
They are.
They're
getting
really matey.
They're getting along so well, they have built a baby cupboard from IKEA together. Now, I'm no expert on childcare, but I don't think you should necessarily putting a baby in a cupboard.
You know, I'm not saying I'm a genius myself, but I think it's more for the clothes for the child. Yeah, I don't think the idea is that, like, you would... Oh, God, that's screaming! Like, crying! Get in the cupboard. Get in the cupboard.
Why do you think they went to IKEA? What's the symbolism there? Yellow and blues. And it also goes deeper. It's a cabinet that comes in 2 parts and may well fall apart.
And when they make the closet for William Hague, are they going to IKEA for that?
Craig needs to start undermining Cameron. Next time they're sort of shaking hands on the lawn like that, he needs to go, where's my watch?
How are the government planning to catch middle-class tax avoiders?
With a butterfly net and the van from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
It'll probably work better than the plan they have.
They're trying to catch them using lie detectors. Middle-class people taking lie detector tests. It's like an upmarket version of Jeremy Kyle. And I'd like to see that. Wouldn't you like to see that middle-class Jeremy Kyle? You know, my cleaner ran off to another family. My husband's using the wrong cutlery. You corked my Merlot!
But the idea is that, that apparently in Benefit Office, there are certain companies that supply software that when people ring in about their benefits, if their voice wobbles in some way, the software can pick this up and will detect that they're nervous. So now it's just going to create a breed of super accountants with really level voices. I wish to just go like Hawking. I get Hawking doing me accounts. Hawking would be fantastic. His voice doesn't wobble and he's good at numbers. If people go, there's a black hole in Mr. O'Brien's accounts, I invented black holes.
People are hiding money offshore, though, and you've got to really know what you're doing with that, because I fell out of the boat 6 times.
What are people saying about the coalition's public spending cuts? Are people angry with us?
They're not happy, are they? They're not happy. I mean, basically, the coalition said they're going to cut, or cut down on sickness benefits. Cameron said that 900,000 people were on sickness benefits and had been for 10 years. And he said that if we thought we could actually afford that, we were deluded. And I was thinking, well, if we are deluded, does that mean we can claim as well?
George Osborne has announced he's going to cut back on all sorts of things. Quangos, he's cutting back on, although I still don't know what they are. I think there might be a cross between... Could be a cross between corn and a mango. Sort of like orange and tasteless. David Dickinson on a stag night.
My granddad's got a good way of getting around the winter fuel reductions. He's died.
The end of that round, the points go to Patrick, Kevin and Andy. Now we play a round called Mock Me Up Before You Go Go. This game involves Milton, Kevin and Russell, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is... festivals. Who wants to come in on that? Kevin.
Festivals. Nice picture there. That's actually me on your left. So, I was at a Christian rock festival. I never really meant to be there. I was just passing through this Christian rock festival and there was a stall set up that said a free toastie for all of God's children. So I thought, sham on. I said, how's it going, mate? Can I have a toastie? And the guy said, are you a Christian? And I thought, well, if I'm not a Christian, am I not getting a toastie? That's not very Christian. And with this, the guy crumbled and stood back to reveal a chalkboard and he said, OK, you can have cheese or cheese and ham. And I thought, I'll just cheese, mate, because I'm a Jew.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is family. Who wants to come out of that? Russell.
So, it wasn't easy growing up trying to be a little liberal kid in the most right-wing family in the whole of my town. My dad was the most right-wing person I knew, but always quick to point out, I'm not racist, but... That was the danger word. I'm not racist, but... Or the latest remix, which is even more innocuous and dangerous. All I want to do is have a sensible discussion about immigration. Yeah? Isn't it? All right, no one with that face wants a sensible discussion about anything. I just want to have a sensible little chat in the back of that transit van over there, yeah? Me and my brothers, the rest of your family, Mr. Woolamalong, whatever your bloody name is, mate, yeah? Get in the van, right? My dad even managed to be prejudiced about my first car decision. How do you even achieve that? By British or German. Do not bring Crappanese onto my driveway, boy. Not only that, but I chose a hybrid car. Part electric, part petrol, papa, right? Another question mark hanging over my sexuality. It's the noise of it when it drove off. Thanks for Sunday lunch. Bye, Daddy. Thank you.
Well done. Good mark. OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is jobs.
I used to work at a Christian rock festival selling toasties. The best day was when I sold this Jewish bloke some yellow ham. My dad was a dustman. I didn't like him coming to collect us from school, though. Not because I was ashamed he was a dustman, it's just you never knew which day he was going to come. The rest of my family were police marksmen. Apart from my grandfather, he was a bank robber. He died quite recently, surrounded by his family. My uncle, he's a police frogman. No, sorry, he's a French policeman. I used to work in a supermarket. It was my job to hand out samples of things for people to taste. But I was asked to leave after the little cups of bleach incident. After that, I worked in a pathology lab, but I was asked to leave after one of my reports said cause of death, autopsy.
Point to the end and go to Milton Jones. Come on back. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Patrick, which category would you like?
Home news.
OK, home news it is. The answer is 500,000. What is the question?
Is it how much money Wayne Rooney thinks a good-looking prostitute costs?
Is it, in cricket, how much do you get for a no ball?
Is it how many ants can safely travel in a lift?
They rarely include that figure.
Yeah.
You know, would it kill them? Would it hurt them to put a small picture of an ant with the number beside it?
Is it the number of flies Lady Gaga found in her knickers the morning after she wore the meat dress?
Or alternatively, is it the number of dogs that now follow her every time she...
Is it how many missed calls are on Osama bin Laden's mobile?
Is it the number of times Daniel Craig's mother has been told that when he was born she should have said, I've been expecting you, Mr. Bond?
Instead of the usual 10 green bottles, how many bottles do the Chilean miners start the song with?
Is it how many accessories has Claire actually got?
Is it how much was George Michael charged for 20 Rizla this week by Big Trev in Ewing?
How many tomatoes died last year as a result of knife crime?
Can anyone give me the correct answer?
I know what it is. It's the number of Russells working in British comedy.
Is it what number most looks like a train pulling a carriage?
No, it's not that.
It is the number of people supposedly who saw the Pope on his travels this week.
It is indeed. Well done, Andy Parsons. Thank you very much. Yes, the question I was looking for was, according to press reports, up to how many people turned out to see Pope Benedict XVI during his 4-day visit to the UK? The Pope's state visit has drawn to a close, with the Vatican and UK commentators proclaiming the trip to have been a wonderful success. Prime Minister David Cameron praised the Pope for raising searching questions and challenging the country to sit up and think. Was the visit a success?
Well, he seemed to be having fun in his Pope-mobile, didn't he?
He did! Why would you deny him that crack?
I'm guessing the Archbishop of Canterbury was a little bit jealous. He hasn't got a Pope-mobile, has he? He's only got a Nissan Micra. When he goes on tour, he's just going to have to stick his head out the sunroof.
He must have had a magnificent time, because he went to Glasgow, Vauxhall and Birmingham. You can't say we're not charming him with our most wonderful scenery.
That is a natural tourist itinerary, isn't it?
Yeah. Lovely to see the Pope there doing his impression of Nick Clegg at conference.
He's quite a small guy, isn't he? The Pope.
He is quite, you know, that's the normal chair.
Maybe that's a big chair.
Yeah. He does look like a ventriloquist doll that's been left there.
So it was papal this, papal that, but it is a safe and secure way of buying stuff on the internet.
The other atheist guy, he did launch, now I thought this was quite, he did launch an attack on atheism and aggressive secularism, the Pope, which is quite interesting because a lot of people, including on this show, do the Nazi joke about the Pope. And then the first time he opened his mouth, he went, atheists are like Nazis! And you go, touche, il papa. I call you that very good. I like what you're doing, right?
I was watching it on Sky News, the Susan Boyle gig. I don't mean to refer to the Pope's visit as a Susan Boyle gig, but when she was on, it was Susan Boyle and Michelle McManus, didn't they? The ideal lineup for a celibate man. But there was 2 rows of empty seats, and the commentator on Sky News said, if you're wondering why these are empty, this is the VIP section, and they'll be empty until the Pope arrives. Now, what kind of message is that? And there's a bouncer there going, yeah, God loves you all equally, but if your name's not on the list, you're not getting in.
To be honest, that is actually the essence of Catholic faith. That is St. Peter in a nutshell. They should have just dressed them all up with beards and robes and stood them beside, and they made all the gates pearly and just gone, no, get used to this. No. How did one reverend describe the open-air event in Hyde Park?
I think he said it was like Glastonbury with God.
It did, actually, yeah. Yeah, it was. I know. Well, this is what it looked like, you know.
It was hosted by Carol Vorderman, wasn't it? Yeah. I don't know quite why she was there. Maybe she was encouraging the faithful to repackage all of their normal prayers into one more easily manageable prayer.
Than one large monthly confession.
The only thing that would have made it better is if they had have actually just day-released George Michael to drive the Pope-mobile, just for one day. Yeah. Just, you know.
Catholic bishops tried to make the church language more user-friendly for staff, because there would have been non-Catholic security staff and functionaries and sound staff and lighting staff who would have used it. So they needed to make their language, to offer a glossary. And we're not making this up. They gave out a pamphlet with the title, The Papal Visit to the UK, 2010, Some Helpful Terms, where they would explain the terms so that people would say, if it said congregation, that is what you would refer to as the audience. The Mass is a gig.
No.
No, genuinely, sacristy is backstage. and genuinely, and Pope was what you call a headline act. In other news, which pop star has been sent to jail?
George Michael, which has completely showed him, hasn't it? Driving around late at night looking for drugs and man sex, so they they lock him up in a place full of drugs and man sex. It's basically like locking burglars up for 2 months in Curry's.
But it's what he was done for, of course, is driving his Range Rover into a branch of Snappy Snaps in Hampstead, isn't it? It went right in through the window, didn't he?
He did.
I just wondered whether he was trying to recreate Wham, but as a sound effect.
Really, there's a picture of the front of Snappy Snaps. Wham! The point where he smashed. Wham! By George. See, I like George Michael. I'm a big fan. I like George Michael's music.
He fell asleep, didn't he? At a traffic light. How quickly can you fall asleep? You know, oh, it's red. This better hurry up. Oh, red, amber.
Somebody in the court case said, when did the collision occur? And his lawyer went, towards the end of the journey. Was the actual...
It's a shame it's happened this week, because now the Pope has gone home with his album Careless Whisper unsigned.
It's interesting, though. How do you test people? I mean, I know how drink driving works, right? But how do you do dope driving? I mean, drink driving, you blow into a breathalyser. If it goes from green to red, they arrest you. So dope driving, you blow into a breathalyser, and if you go, oh, look at the lovely lights... Is that how that works?
If you inhale on the breathalyser, that's how you know. Yeah.
Apparently, right, the police wanted to know how long he'd been asleep for. And checking the Guinness Book of Hit Singles, I made it about 12 years. I mean, let's face it, it'll be the first time in years, won't it, if he visits the prison showers, that he's had a surprise entry in the number 2 slot.
I can't support that kind of material on this show. Fast Love is a classic, and Freedom 90 as well. All right, so I just,
They were singing as well, wasn't it? They were singing his song.
Oh, yeah,
Freedom.
they were singing Freedom when he arrived into
They're trying
prison.
to taunt him and intimidate him by singing his song. I think it'd be quite a beautiful entrance. No, I imagine, like, these hardened criminals the night before up rehearsing the song. OK, Steve, so you say freedom 3 times.
It's not the kind of song. It's not really like a football chant type of song. Freedom, don't you mind freedom? Yeah. It's like the least intimidating song in the world. Like,
We've all fallen asleep at the wheel. I don't know how hamsters do it.
Okay. At the end of that round, the point's going to rustle here in no time. Okay, now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. Okay, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear on a news programme.
Behind me, a man lies dead. That's what happens if you pull faces in the background when I'm doing a piece to camera.
This is BBC Three's News in 15 Seconds. Floods, recession, Lib Dems, Wayne Rooney.
Medical news just in. Pioneering X-rays have proven that Nick Clegg has a spine.
Our tape of Big Ben is broken. Bong.
This is Fox News.
Freed Lockerbie bomber Ado Bassett Al-Megrahi has died.
Are you there? No, there's no one there. Well, we hope to talk to Michael Jackson later.
Later on, we'll be finding how the Queen arrived in Australia butt first.
Finally, economic news. We're fucked. Good night.
There is still an embargo on revealing the footballer at the centre of this sex case. This is Brian Henderson outside John Terry's house. Sorry.
Protesters set fire to cars and blocked the carriageway for several hours in protest over something or other, bloody French.
City news now. London is dangerous, York is old, and Bristol is a bit weird.
The next topic, please. Unlikely things to hear on a train.
This is the Virgin train service to Edinburgh. If you're not a virgin, would you please get off at Hemel Hempstead?
We would like to apologise for the bumpy ride as we entered the last station. This is due to some selfish bastard throwing himself under the train.
We are now arriving in Sheffield. Could all passengers in first class please pull back your window blinds and take a look at the real world?
We'd like to apologise for the toilet being out of order for the entire journey, as Ricky Hatton is in it.
Due to staff shortages, I am unable to finish this announcement.
Hot food is now available because the buffet car is on fire.
We have now arrived into Birmingham New Street. We are pleased to inform any passengers wishing to change for Wolverhampton that there's a JD Sports opposite the station.
Excuse me, do you have any more of those sandwiches? They're delicious.
I wonder whether I should take my personal belongings with me when I leave this train. If only there was an announcement that could possibly help me.
We apologise for the delay to this service. This was caused by points failure at Make Something Up.
Hello. This is the train speaking. I know we're running a bit late, but don't worry. I know a shortcut.
Could the passenger causing a disturbance in the quiet coach please settle down and stop shouting about your heart medicine?
Would the driver please contact the guard? We have no idea where you are.
This is the driver contacting the guard. Where am I?
At the end of that round, the points go to Patrick, Kevin and Andy. And that is the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Kevin Bridges and Patrick Kilty. Commiserations to Russell Kane, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
The Rob Brydon Show, tomorrow night at 10 on BBC Two. James Corden drops by for a chat, and there's music from Mark Ronson.
Read all about
Hello and welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Andy Osho and Jack Whitehall, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Carl Donnelly. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture from this week's Labour Party conference, but what does EMDB stand for?
Is it how Ed Miliband was chosen? Eeny, meeny, dibble, bibble.
Is it Ed, marvellous double-crossing bastard?
David is threatening Ed and he's reminding him of something he used to do. Remember, Ed, make damp bed.
Looking at the acting on David's face, is it Elder Miliband deserves BAFTA?
Is it what David should have done the minute he was born? Eradicate my dad's bollocks.
Is it Ernie marginally defeats Bert?
Is it something to do with the way Ed's standing? Is it Ed Miliband disguises boner?
I reckon it's just a headline from the Daily Mail, isn't it? Evil Marxist dictator bastards.
I'm going to move towards the correct answer for Cameron.
Does the E stand for Ed?
Yes.
Does the M stand for Miliband?
Yes, it does. You're very
does
good
the
at
D
this
stand
game.
for David and does the B stand for Billy Band? Is it a bit of scandal? Is it Ed's mother is David's brother? Is it Ed Miliband defeats brother?
It is indeed. Thank you very much. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Ed Miliband defeats brother. This is the news that Ed Miliband has become the new leader of the Labour Party after a nail-biting build-up at the party's conference in Manchester. Ed narrowly defeated his elder brother and clear favourite David in one of the biggest upsets in recent British political history.
Don't you think it was really weird? Because in his acceptance speech, Ed Miliband said, "Never in my wildest imagination did I think I would become leader of this party." And you think, why did he stand then? Well, he must have had a sort of vague idea it was a possibility. He must understand how elections... If we want a leader who doesn't understand how elections work, we might as well send a passport to Robert Mugabe.
I'm trying to encourage him to actually, you know, state where he is. Is he Blairite? Is he Brownite?
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's saying he's his own man, but Milibandite, it doesn't really sound like a political philosophy, does it? Sounds more like a strong adhesive, you know? Don't use glue, use Milibandite.
They glue him to the back of the wall and the party conference and slowly lowering the wall forward. Milibandite is perfect.
He has the look of somebody on The Apprentice. Ever since it's been announced that he's the leader, he's got this look on his face of, oh no, I didn't mean that to happen. When he stood up to give his leader's speech, I genuinely thought he was going to start by going, am I being punked?
He looks like Beaker out of the Muppets. I love him.
Yeah, it's all me with him.
Because they look quite similar, but not similar enough to, like... Because if they looked a little bit more similar, they could do that stuff that they did in Parent Trap, where they could pretend to be each other. It's like, turn up. Like, David would turn up and be like, oh, it's Ed, isn't it? Yeah, it's Ed. So I'll go do my speech now. Africa, schmafrica. What about gays? And then he'd be fine.
It's a great plan. It's one of the best plans I've ever heard. They would turn up and deliver Africa, schmafrica. What about the gays?
Africa, schmafrica speech.
The famous I have a schmagreen. What factor allowed Ed to narrowly defeat his brother in this?
Well, this is supposed to be the unions.
Yes.
The annoying thing now is that the papers are calling him Red Ed. If you read the Daily Mail, they say, who has been dubbed Red Ed? Yeah, by you.
They're calling him Red Ed partly because he's got left-wing policies,
yes,
but mainly because it rhymes with Ed.
Yes.
That is most
unfortunate.
of it.
Yeah.
You know, there are lots of things that rhyme with Ed. He is in a bit of trouble, isn't he? Because if he does move slightly to the right, then it'll be right said Ed. You know? He gets married, wed Ed. You know, he wakes up with a bad hair day, bedhead. You know, it's just going to go on and on.
I like the fact as well, all the newspapers made a big thing of saying, oh, their policies are very different, even though they're brothers. I thought it'd be quite cool if there was more political brothers that just came out the woodwork. It's like, oh, yeah, hello, I'm Colin Mugabe, and my favourite festival is Glastonbury, because I love anything that is run by a rich white farmer.
To make up for the sibling rivalry, though, didn't Ed say he'd give David any job he wanted? But that leaves it open from just... Could he get revenge by just making up a job? He'd ask you like this shadow Mac Daddy of the Exchequer or something. Anything he wanted.
Surely if he goes, I'll give you any job you want, how about leader of the Labour Party?
David's hand gestures during his speech. He gave a speech the next day where he was talking about Ed all the time, but there was a camera focused on his hands, and he was going, the thing about Ed, we have to work together. And he kept referring to him as special over and over again. Ed is a special person. He might as well have winked. I think we know what I mean.
And his wife, and references to his poor partner, who was upset, obviously, because her husband had lost out in his dream, but kept going on about how upset she was, and she was a violinist. She was upset, and she was a violinist. These two facts were in every piece, as if she spent 4 days fiddling furiously.
Coming off it.
Yes. Twang, twang, instead of one string.
The first poll that came out after he was elected leader had Labour slightly ahead. Pollsters are constantly bringing things out all the time. Who are you going to vote for? They're nagging. Did we not tell you who we're going to vote? I'm pretty sure we told you who we will vote for and then voted for them. Stop asking us. Pollsters, they're like opticians, pollsters. It's just, and now, and now, and now. And now. Shut up.
In other news, what problems has the police been having with their e-fit pictures? Have you seen this?
I have seen it.
Yes, it is very good. Police in Hampshire released an e-fit. E-fit is like the new technologically advanced photo fit, have you seen this man picture. And they released one during the week, the Hampshire Constabulary, of a burglar who stole £60 from an old woman's purse. And this was a picture. If you've seen this man, you should report it. People came out with the police saying it was the police's fault. It's clearly the witness who had definitely green. His hair. Right, so he looks like Jimmy White, but with a green, like a Shrek wig. Something like dressed as the Joker broke into your house.
All you can say to that, though, if you're a bald man and a robber, get yourself an iceberg lettuce, hold it behind your head, and only attack very short-sighted people.
Larry, people might have green hair.
Yeah, I know, but you wouldn't presume it's easy enough to trap someone with green hair. Oh, yeah, you want green hair Dave. Yeah, he was going for his movements last night.
It looks like the outcome if Keith Harris had sex with Orville.
You can.
Can I sing me song now? Whatever, please yourself.
And apparently they still can't find the man, but my suggestion would be that he's lying low in some allotments.
That is at the end of that round, the points go to Chris Huron-Card. Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features the royal family.
Oh, I hate looking at houses. Yes, well, hopefully this next property will really float your boat, Your Majesty. It's difficult downsizing, but the owner may take an offer. It's been on the market since 1584. It's damp and it's got no roof. Oh, what a waste of a morning. I could be shooting an osprey. Did you know, by the way, you've got a meringue on your head? Oh, look, here's a goat. Oh, that makes me feel peckish. Where are we staying? In the Premier Inn. Could you have that delivered to the Premier Inn? Room 256. Oh, a shed load of pita bread. Thank you. Where is Philip? Where is he? I need to talk to him about the ensuite. I think you may be talking to a man about a goat, Your Majesty. Oh, for God's sake, not again. So, anyway, tell me about this castle. Does it have a dungeon? We need somewhere to keep Fergie. Oh, yes, they're bloody tasty. Slice them thinly, a bit of chilli sauce. Problem is, catching them, you have to drop on them from above. Here. Have you been banging on about goats again? No, not who? Me? No, not at all, no. Do you like goats? Oh, my God, there's another one. They're everywhere. They're like Albanians. Yeah. Oh, goodbye, everyone. Sorry about my husband. Do you like the property? Well, I don't know. Have you asked them the question? Go on, ask them the question, please. Do I have to? Oh, all right. Is it near a kebab shop?
Now we play a round called Eat, Pray, Mock. This game involves Jack, Carl and Andy, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner, whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is... food. Who wants to come on that?
I'll have that.
Carl.
I eat a lot of fast food. My favourite is actually Subway sandwiches. I don't know if anyone's been, but basically the thing that annoys me about it is I don't personally think it should take 3 people to make you a sandwich. If you've ever been, basically every time you pop in, you order food, a relay race kicks off. Where one guy gets your bread of choice out, cuts it, and then thinks, I can't carry on here. He then passes it to his friend in the middle, who puts your fillings of choice in, who again thinks that'll do me at this juncture. And the final guy, he wraps it up and charges you. Now, it's not that hard to make a sandwich. I managed quite well at home on my own. I've never been halfway through making a sandwich and suddenly thought, I need some backup. I actually had a strange event happen to me in a Subway where I went into one. I was the only person in the shop. I got to the counter and the guy went, how can I help you? I went, I'd have a 6-inch meatball marinara, please. At which point the guy broke the news to me. Sorry, mate, we're out of bread at the moment. What? Well, shut the shop then, right? What did he expect me to order at that point that warranted his question? Like, I was walking past thinking, do you know what I need right now? A cup of sweet corn. But what annoyed me even more was the fact that he didn't open with the no bread. If you work in a sandwich shop and you run out of bread, that's all you say. You don't even let people get through the door before you go, no bread! Right? He let me say the full name of my sandwich. As I was going to go, yeah, can I have a 6-inch meatball marinara? But rather than bread, I've got a plan, right? I'm going to walk along the front of the counter here with my mouth open. You just chuck the meatballs in as I go.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is identity. Who wants to come in that?
I will. Well, yeah, so being Nigerian, that is the identity I most probably associate myself with. I've been a Nigerian a long time. One of the things I love that Nigerian women do, it seems to be in our DNA, and that's to point with our lips for some reason. Like that. I don't know why, and it's not because our hands are full or anything. And also, when you get really good at it, you can talk at the same time. So I've seen my mum just go, take this one and put it over here. I love it. And Nigerian men are amazing. I love Nigerian men. But there's one thing about them, right, Nigerian men. They cannot answer a question straight. Like, they've got to answer a question with another question. So you could ask them something as simple as, what's your name? And they'll be like, hey, come on now. What do you need to know my name for? You're like, well, it's standard procedure for a passport application. I don't make the rules. I hate my passport photo. I look like I've been caught in a lay-by with Hugh Grant.
OK, that leaves us with Jack. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. Topic is young people.
They look pretty mischievous. No, I've been in trouble once or twice before because I say the wrong thing when I get intimidated. And I get intimidated quite a lot. Like the night bus, I think, is the worst. When you go onto the night bus and you go onto the top deck and there's all those youths sat at the back like a pack of wolves and their hoodies playing their music really loudly on their mobile phones. I found out the hard way. They don't like it when you make requests. I didn't know what I was doing. I was drunk. I turned round. The leader of the pack staring at me. He's like, hey, bruv, what do you want? Cheryl Cole, Fight for This Love. I panic. I say the wrong thing. Like, I did a student gig quite recently at the University of Warrington. It was quite a hostile environment. I went up on stage before I'd done any of my material. The big guy in the front row got up from his seat and was like, "Oi, mate, get on with your jokes. I came here for the comedy." And said, "No, you didn't. You came because you screwed up your A-levels." I think it's something I get from my parents, because my parents are very confrontational. They're Pisces and Capricorns, obviously. They're always at each other's throats. I do all that zodiac thing, by the way, like, I don't get on with my sister's new boyfriend because I'm a Leo and he's a bellend.
OK, Jack. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Carl, which category would you like?
Sports, please.
OK, your category is sport, and the answer is 7 years. What is the question?
Is it how long would Chris Moyles have to not be paid for before I gave a shit?
One of the largest spontaneous and heartfelt applause we've had.
How long is it since Eamon Holmes last saw his feet?
Whereas the audience can't turn.
No, they don't.
How many years of good luck would you get if you broke Jeremy Clarkson's face?
What is the average age of a construction worker at the Commonwealth Games?
Is it after how long would the Chilean miners decide that it's not gay if it happens underground?
Is it how old is the Earth according to Sarah Palin?
How long does it take Dara to put a polo neck on?
What is the longest recorded phone call between my wife and her mother?
Is it how many of my school years were spent being called Screech from Saved by the Bell?
How long does it take the idiot in front of you to use the self-checkout?
Self-checkout, I love that.
Is it...
I tell you what, I'm in Tesco's and just going to check out the prostate.
I think it's only in Lidl you're allowed to expose those sorts of things.
Illegal item in the bagging area. Illegal item.
Illegal bagging in the item area.
Yeah. Can we get the correct answer, please?
How long ago were the Indians aware that they were going to have to build the Commonwealth Games?
That is absolutely right. Very good. Well done. Yes, the question I was looking for was how much time has Delhi had to prepare for the crisis-hit Commonwealth Games, which reports claim are still not ready. The city won the right to host the Games in 2003, but the build-up to the event has been plagued by fears that facilities and accommodation might not be complete on time and to a safe standard. So what's been going wrong?
Well, the ceiling of the weightlifting area collapsed. I mean, that's fantastic, isn't it? And there he is. He's holding up 200 kilograms and the roof!
That is, yes, that's one of them. Anything else, go?
People were making the distinction between filth and excrement. That's not a reassuring distinction to make, is it? Is that excrement? My bed is bobbing around and don't worry, mate, that's just filth. Oh, fine. Wait for you when it's time to swim to the venue.
It was a combination of basically exposed wiring and flooding. And probably not a great combination.
No.
A man has jumped further than any human in history by merely trying to turn on his bathroom.
Philip Sado claimed in an interview that he's not going because of the safety precautions. But I'd read afterwards he's from Hackney.
Collapsing buildings are going to be good for world records. Nothing will make you run quicker than thinking the main stand is about to come on your head.
Athletes are incredibly wussy about the accommodation. The Australians, a lot of Australians aren't going. So an Australian, you'd think, you know, I've wrestled crocs, I've been bitten by a shark, but oh no, it's badly grouted.
I think the fear isn't bad grouting, it's dengue fever from stagnant water pools. And to be fair now, because this is the hockey training ground that they have at the moment. Well, now, that's a fair... You can't, even for a hockey pitch, that's a lot of stagnant water and metal pools.
I think an outbreak of mosquitoes is going to make it quite exciting viewing, though, isn't it? Watching all the runners running along like this. You know, the hop, skip and slap's going to be absolutely fantastic.
It'll be very difficult for deaf people watching because all the guys out there interpreting.
I think deaf people don't need that much interpretation on a race. I think they can generally spot.
They have to go really fast.
Yeah.
There's a marathon today.
I
I went to India. I was quite shocked, actually, by the stuff. Because when you go out, you find out you have to eat with one hand and wipe your bum with the other hand. And I was nervous that I'd forget which one was used for which. But I'm sensible, Dara, so I used cutlery. But after a while, it really began to hurt my bum.
I think, though, for the Commonwealth Games, this presents a unique opportunity for boxers. It'll be the one and only time they can start off the competition as a heavyweight and by the end of the competition be fighting as a featherweight. That little bucket by the side of the ring is going to have seen more action than they've ever expected before. No!
You know what they had removed from one of the rooms in the Athletes' Village?
A snake.
A snake, a cobra, was in one of the bedrooms in South Africa. And they said, I don't know what you're worried. We gave you a basket and a small horn. You play the horn and the cobra will go back into the basket. A cobra! Like, that's a valid safety complaint, surely.
But it's a double whammy as well. You get bitten by a cobra, they give you an anti-venom, and then they disqualify you for having an illegal substance in your bloodstream.
What animals have been brought in?
Camels.
No, not camels, no.
Penguins.
Not penguins.
Bears?
No, monkeys.
Is it a narwhal?
It's not a narwhal. Stop naming random animals, right?
Is it a muskrat?
It's not a muskrat. I've already said the word monkeys while you carried on naming it.
Is it monkeys?
It's monkeys. Well done, yeah. It is monkeys. Trained monkeys have been brought in. Langur monkeys are called. And what are they there to do?
Move in sofas.
Yeah.
No.
Sell T-shirts.
No, they're there to stop other monkeys getting into the...
They're monkey bouncers.
They're monkey bouncers. They've got a list of other monkeys.
Your species isn't down, you're not coming in.
Sorry.
Why aren't they wearing...
And if you don't back away, I will fling shit at you, all right?
Because the plumbing's rubbish. They're there to test in case the baths are too hot. If they get in and they go... It could mean either, to be honest.
I was trying to think of what is the worst event, right, to do if you've got the shits, right? And I thought weightlifting. That has got to be the worst, isn't it? You know, you push up the whole idea that every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
At the end of that round, the points go to Jack, Andy and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear in a quiz show.
Well, welcome to Junior Mastermind, our annual competition to find the best nerdy, specky, knobby no-mates in Britain 2010.
We asked 100 people, name something you eat with a spoon. And the top answer was, piss off, I'm busy.
So, Nick Griffin, you were the weakest link in that round, and yet you chose to get rid of Rashid. Why?
And on tonight's Family Fortunes, we're joined by the Fritzels and the Wests.
So, Noel, your soul for a resurrected career. Deal or no deal?
Ooh, this one has really stumped Steve from the Eggheads. The question was, what is it like to have sex with a woman?
Welcome to Weakest Link Bankers Edition. You've banked nothing, scored nothing, and yet you still have a bonus.
You have one lifeline left. That's calling your country's government to see whether they will accept our demands.
We asked 100 people, where is the G-spot? You've given us your answer. If it's up there, love, I'll give you the money myself.
So this question for £100. What is your PIN number?
60 quid for half a gram of coke. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
I'm Dale Winton, and you've got to be in it to win it. And by that, of course, I mean my bottom.
The next topic is lines you wouldn't hear in an action movie.
Right, I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or just 5? To be honest, in all the kerfuffle, I've kind of lost count myself. But seeing as how this is a .44 Magnum, which is the most powerful shotgun in the world, could blow your head clean off, you've got to ask yourself, what am I like?
If I press this button, you will witness the worst thing you could possibly imagine. Channel 5.
I know you're mad, Max, but getting drunk and blaming everything on the Jews isn't going to help.
First, Mr. Bond, I plan to aim the giant laser at the world. And then... Oh, fuck, this cat shot me again.
OK, men, this is the plan. We tunnel under the wire, we make a dash for Blighty, and hopefully we'll never, ever have to compete in the Commonwealth Games again.
I want your clothes, your boots, and your unicycle.
There is a bomb on this bus, but we think we know who's got it. But if we get this wrong, we might look a bit racist.
Batman, it's Catwoman. She says she's been thrown in a wheelie bin.
They beat him, they kicked him, they shot him, they left him for dead. Now, he's dead.
Now, listen to me, Bourne. If you're not back in 10 minutes, your dinner goes in the bin. And yes, that is an ultimatum.
Luke, I am your father.
Really? You're black.
I'm Iron Man, doing what I do best. Ironing.
Which box do I put it in?
Terminator 5. Recycling Day.
I am Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the Legions of the North, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Gladiator! Ready!
At the end of that round, the points go to Jack, Andy and Andy! And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Andy Osho and Jack Whitehall. Commiseration to Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Carl Donnelly. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
Dappy from N-Dubs or Terry Nutkins? Who would you choose to be the leader of the pack? Whacked out comedy The King is Dead on BBC 3 now. And tomorrow night here on BBC 2, Stephen Fry gives his ever so eloquent all on the Rob Brydon Show. That's at 10.
Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Ed Byrne and Miles Jupp, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Jack Whitehall. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Prime Minister and the Chancellor, but what does SCDC stand for?
Is he telling people the only two people that won't be affected by the cuts? Samantha Cameron and David Cameron.
Is it stop claiming disability, chavs?
Is he just simply going, sandwiches, Clegg, drinks, Clegg?
I'm not sure what the answer is, but there's certainly 2 C words there, aren't there?
I think he's forgotten his hand puppets. This is a little act he does called Saint Cameron, Devil Cameron. Oh, I'm just an ordinary bloke, just cares about the common man. Oh, burn the poor. Oh, stop it, Devil Cameron.
Is it to do with, in fact, the child benefit cuts? Is that what it's to do with? Is it save cash, don't copulate?
Is he quite simply saying starving children don't care?
Is it everyone he doesn't like? Socialists, chavs, dossers and the Chinese? He had a year out there. It didn't go well.
I genuinely have to move to Crow.
Wait, I'm done. Seriously, is it spending cuts dominate conference?
Yes, it is. Very good. Yes, the answer I was looking for was spending cuts dominate conference. The Conservatives outlined plans for the biggest shake-up of welfare reform in 60 years, with Chancellor George Osborne saying cuts must be fast and deep to avoid a decade of debt. What do we think of the cuts?
The big thing they've done is to cut benefits to the middle classes, isn't it? Because they know that child benefit for the middle classes will simply be spent on olives and lemon drizzle cake.
Osborne's speech, did you hear his speech? He said, just over the horizon is the Britain we're trying to build. What, France?
They're keen to get people out of the poverty trap. That's what they're saying. I was quite sure what the poverty trap was. Whether it, in fact, was this hole in the ground with some Findus crispy pancakes in the bottom, covered over the top with scratch cards.
But now, because of the adverse reaction to this, they say that they may give tax credit to married people, raising again the spectre of unmarried people. Then we go, well, do we have to marry in order to get the tax credit? Because as we all know, marriages born out of tax credits are the most loving marriages of all.
Tories have got a point. They have got a point. There was a woman in the paper the other day, loads of kids, living off the state, and see, the Queen, that's it, the Queen. Philip's going to have to get a job, but luckily, right now, they're looking for people like him in immigration control.
How are government ministers practising what they preach?
The minister who's doing the most is this guy called Eric Pickles, isn't it?
Yes,
he's the Minister for Communities or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
and he has told his staff that they have to use the stairs rather than lifts, that they're not allowed tea in meetings and they've got to turn the heating down. And when you look at him, you say that's because you want to save money, but it's more than likely that actually the lift's broken because you've been in it. There are no biscuits because you've eaten them, and you don't need heating because your body has got its own fat-filled 10-tog duvet.
To be fair to Eric Pickles, he's the ideal person to be community secretary because he's used to having people around him, largely because of the gravitational pull.
Just helping him walk.
When you look at that photograph, does it not look like they've airbrushed a foot-long sandwich out of the shot?
By the way, if you want to join in the Eric Pickles satire game, just point at the picture and make your own sentences up involving belt tightening.
He looks like Matt Lucas, just quite simply going, that one. That
one. In other news, what have the trapped miners in Chile come a step closer to?
Is it Christmas number 1?
Could be, you know.
I think it's getting out, isn't it?
It is, of course.
It's getting out, and the good news is that Davina's going over for the evictions. Is it not? Actually, it's that the rescue pod has arrived, isn't it?
The rescue pod.
The thing that's going to pull them out has arrived. It's a lift. This thing is a lift, and it's got a microphone in it, so they can talk to the surface, and the surface can talk to them and say, we apologise for the cancellation of your lift service.
I read that in there that this thing that they're getting lugged up in is like a metal coffin. It said it had Wi-Fi access. So I think if I've been in a mine for 2 months, the last thing on my mind when I'm getting pulled up to safety is checking my emails. Just being there being like, oh, look, Jeff's been on Facebook. He's thrown a bat at me. Ha ha.
You could tweet. You could tweet like, I'm in the cage, still in the cage.
How depressing, though, if you've been in there for 2 months, checked your emails, and you found you didn't have any emails whatsoever.
They've been told as well to lose weight for when they get taken up. It's like, how do you put on weight when you're in a cave for 2 months? It's like a coal mine. You're not going to suddenly turn around and be like, oh, look what I've just found. It's a Greggs. You went for that?
There's a fat vein here that we've been mining for a while.
They're being fed through... They're being fed down a big pipe, right? So they have a very restricted diet. Meatballs, anything that can roll, really. That's what they got. Prawn balls, Ferrero Rocher... If they're still in there at Christmas, they're all getting a Terry's orange.
Do you think... Are they fed like hamsters are? Do they walk to the thing and then take the pellet and then another one falls down and they go, I wanted the Ferrero Rocher, I got the meatball.
Actually, they're building little cells for them to go into as soon as they come out of the ground to be checked up for, you know, medically. And also, they've told... They're only like little boxes, and they've said they can have 2 family members in there with them as well, just in case it wasn't cramped enough. After they've just spent ages cramped down a hole, we're going to bring out and cramp you in another little box. Don't worry, we'll cram another couple of people in that you know, just so you don't feel like too much of a sea change.
Well, really, I mean, what do you expect to do? Just put out like a field for them just to run around in circles to figure them out? Yay! Just running over the hill.
In short, yes!
And also, it didn't necessarily be 2 family members. I mean, like, most of them, it'll be agents and ghostwriters. And people going, good news, Javier Bardem is lined up to play you in the movie. Hey! Bad news, you got Omid Jalili.
They're going to give them actual financial training, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
They're giving them...
And media training as well, yes.
Yeah, you know, because, I mean, let's face it, you don't need to have financial skills if you're one of those Chilean miners. If you want to be financially secure, all you've got to be able to do is fill in an overtime form and you'll be laughing.
They've sent them exercise videos so they can slim down, so they fit through the hole. They sent them exercise videos, but the first one, they said, we don't want this one. The guy doing it is too ugly, right? If people who have been under the ground for 7 weeks think you're too ugly, you are really ugly. If you've been under the ground for 7 weeks, Nick Noel starts to look good.
There's a lot of speculation, isn't there, about what the very first thing they're going to do when they get to the surface is. You know, and obviously, the very first thing they're going to do when they get to the surface is this.
It burns! It burns! Okay, that's the end of that round. The points go to Chris, you and Jack. Our next round is called Newsreel. We play on a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features Boris Johnson and David Cameron.
Tally-ho, look out, posh boy coming through. I wonder if there's any grub. I'm absolutely starving.
Now, remember why we're here, Boris? We're here to reassure the public about spending cuts, not just so you can eat.
No, but look, there's cake. There's cake. There's loads of cake. I love cake. They've got all sorts of cake. We've got pink cake. They've got blue cake. What am I? Am I pink? Am I blue? Am I pink? I've never been pink. God, I sound like William Hague. Anyway, all the cake's on cameras. He's got loads of cash from the spending cuts.
Actually, this is the last £10 left in Britain, so we'll best be careful with it.
Well, I want a meringue. I love a meringue. I love all the cream in a meringue.
Well, why don't you share mine? I mean, times are hard.
Well, I could, I suppose, but I have a rule. I have a rule. I never share anything with another man, unless, of course, it's his wife. Here we go. Now, careful, don't get any of the white stuff up there. No, that would be very bad. Anyway.
So, do you have any change? We were hoping to have saved some for the poor people. It doesn't really matter, but if there is some left over... £3, lovely. That's absolutely perfect.
God, there's a big crowd here. I wonder if I could do them for the congestion charge. They absolutely love me for the congestion charge. They love my blonde-haired buffoonery. They love me. Come on, Boris. Oh, yes, they love me. And they love me when I'm riding my bike. That's what they really love. Yes, oops.
There we go. That's the Pakistani betting syndicate satisfied.
Oh, look, lovely. sticky fingers. Yes, I love a sticky finger. That's on the first. Oh, look, a genuine Cockney. Hello, how are you? Oh, Lauren Lummy, who shot Cock Robin, apples and pears. Down the old chimney, Mary Poppins, the Cray twins, innit? I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well done, you. The next round is called The Apprentice. You're fired. Wednesday nights, 10 o'clock, BBC Two. This game involves Jack, Miles and Andy, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. And it's the economy. Any persons?
I suppose we should be grateful we're not in Greece. Things very bad there. There's rioting. Things so bad, the austerity measures, that they can't even afford to put petrol in their milk bottles to chuck them. Things are so bad they're having to put milk in their milk bottles. That's how bad things are. Oi, take that! Yeah, in 2 hours your clothes are going to smell really bad. The European Central Bank, right, they have said that when it comes to Greece, they think it may be a bit like the Ebola virus, right? And they said we may have to cut off our leg to survive. Now, they may know a bit about finance. They know very little about the Ebola virus. It affects your entire body. You cut your leg off, you've still got the Ebola virus. You've just got one leg bloody less.
Thank you very much, Andy Parsons. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is clubbing. Who wants to talk about that? Miles.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you can all tell I'm a bit of a clubber. Nothing I like more than getting down to the local hotspot and shaking the old batty and ting, a bit of shawaddy-waddy. Don't mind if I do. I have tried night clubbing. It's not really my thing. I'm a bit too delicate, my system. I was in a nightclub recently. A fellow young raver danced up and shouted, "I'm loving it, loving it, loving it!" I replied, "I'm finding it all a bit noisy, finding it all a bit noisy, finding it all a bit noisy." People jump around like crazy in those places. At one point, my cup and saucer was knocked clean out of my hand. It's tricky. I mean, I've tried the dancing. That's not my thing either. I don't care if I haven't got sexy Latin rhythms. I've got a Latin A-level. Much more transferable in the job market. I was on the dance floor recently. A lot of my fellow young ravers were blowing whistles, so I joined in and gave a bloody good pop on my bugle. Unfortunately, that meant half the Bosworth Hunt came charging in across the dance. Pounds mistook 3 of the ginger students for foxes, and there was a hell of a mess.
Thank you very much, Miles Just. OK, that leaves us with Jack. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The topic is health.
I know what you're thinking. Yeah, that is my gun. So, we are in the midst of an obesity epidemic, and the people I blame, definitely, are the supermarkets, because I don't think they're doing enough, right? Like, you go into any supermarket now, you buy food. If you care about what you put into your body, you look at the nutritional information, you know, the little wheel of guilt that every packet has on it now. That lures you in, doesn't it? Like, you buy something, like ice cream. It's like, this ice cream only contains 5% of your daily intake of calories. You're like, oh, that's very promising. I'll buy and eat the ice cream then. Then you look a little bit closer, above the little wheel of guilt, tiny white writing, 1/8 of a tub. Oh, you cheeky bastard. You're not allowed to do that. Put on the packet whatever makes it sound good to sell the product, then make up a ludicrously unrealistic portion size, so I buy it like a twat. That's like Greg's going, this sausage roll only contains 2% of your daily intake of calories, if you lick it. It needs to do more. I think what the supermarkets need to start doing is putting warnings on their packets of food, like they do with cigarettes. You buy cigarettes, it's got a horrible picture of, like, a lung caked in shit. You're like, oh, I don't want to smoke that. You should do it with food. Tesco's on cakes should just have pictures of, I don't know, a really fat woman crying as she walks out of Topshop empty-handed.
OK, at the end of that round, what the hell? Points for everyone. Come on, sit back down here. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Miles, which category would you like?
Sport, please.
OK, your category is sport. And the answer is 4 days. What is the question?
At what age do Scottish children start drinking? As a sport.
Is it the time it takes for light to travel around Eric Pickles?
Is it... How long after becoming president would Sarah Palin nuke Iran?
How long can a Chilean miner make a tracker bar last for?
Is it how long is classed as a quick go on the sunbed if you're a teenage girl from the Liverpool area?
Is it if it took God 6 days to make the world, how long would it have taken him if he was Polish?
Is it if Nick Clegg got kidnapped, after how long would it take someone in Downing Street to say, ooh, no one's changed the ink on this printer?
How long does a bag for life normally actually last?
Is it how long did the Ryder Cup last?
It is indeed. Well done, thank you very much, you did. The question I was looking for is, how long did this year's Ryder Cup last? For the first time in its 83-year history, the Ryder Cup entered into a 4th day of play on Monday due to bad weather in Newport in Wales. The delay to the event, which is won by the European team in a nail-biting finish, was caused by a succession of torrential downpours. Did any of you manage to tune into it all?
I did manage to tune in. I tuned in whilst I was actually there because there wasn't any golf being played when I was in fact there. Turned up 9:45 a.m. on the Friday, just as play was suspended. £100 a ticket, no refund. The only bonus is that now we've mentioned it on this show, it is at least tax deductible.
To be fair to Wales, a lot of people are going, oh my God, and people here are going, oh, how could you hold it in Wales? The entire country was being bucketed on, like, and in poor old Wales is going, hey, it's not just here, you know. It's not just the rain stops because it hasn't got the £4.60 change to cross the Severn Bridge. Like, it doesn't get to this point and just dump down here, right?
£4.60. Things have changed since you went across the bridge.
Oh, really?
£5.50 now.
£5? Oh my Lord, Wales, you are pricing yourself out of the market.
The Americans had to buy wet waterproof clothes from the souvenir stand, basically.
Yeah.
They had to just buy stuff. And even Tiger Woods, I'm sure, was going, what, 300 quid for a wind cheater? You are taking the piss.
It's ironic, isn't it? That's the one time in the entire history of the world where there wasn't a bloke standing there with a massive golf sale sign.
They're all making a fuss, though, about, like, what is... I mean, come on. Oh, we can't play golf because there's a little bit of water on the green. I mean, I played a course at Alton Towers. There was a windmill in front of the hole. I mean, try that. That is hard.
Par 4. The whole course flooded. Think how much worse it would have been if it didn't have all those holes in.
Did you think when you saw all the water on the course, did you not think, well, the water looks lovely, the sand looks lovely, but the red flags are telling me I can't swim?
What other big sporting event got underway this week?
This is the story that the Commonwealth Games has got underway. The opening ceremony, loads of drummers drumming. Apparently, just to mask the sound of actually the people who are building the rest of the stadium around the outside.
And there was fireworks, which weren't actually fireworks, just somebody plugged in one of the scoreboards.
Oh, what was it? But do you remember the centrepiece? What was the centrepiece was?
A big helium balloon.
It was the world's most expensive helium balloon, which floated up, descending down, and then they burst it, and everyone was out to suck in something, and all 65,000 people went, welcome to India!
I didn't see the opening ceremony, but it said in the paper that Prince Charles gave a speech, and in the paper it actually said Prince Charles read out the Queen's address. And I thought, how long did that take? Buckingham Palace, London. I can't remember the postcode.
Also at the opening ceremony was the Minister for Delhi, Sheila Dixit. How brilliant is that? An Indian called Sheila. That is fantastic, isn't it?
In other news, what's going on here?
Is it the Great Wall of Chinese?
Is that the world?
It's the Guinness World Record attempt for the biggest game of musical chairs.
Is that the world's most impressive motorcycle display team?
And that's only one bike as well. That's the most impressive thing about it.
What I love about that photo is in the far right-hand corner, the bloke in white. Isn't that fantastic? He's obviously got the wrong invite, hasn't he, there?
I never got brown suit day memo. He actually is very important in the North Korean army. He looks after the Milky Bars.
He's the one you're looking for. This is the very famous North Korean children's book, Where's Woojin?
You thought your version of Guess Who was hard?
Does he have black hair? Does he look a little bit like Kim Jong-il? No.
Is it an attempt to show that they have some enormously tall people in Korea?
As a stand-up comic, I just look at that and think, ooh, tough crowd.
Yes, this is the unveiling in North Korea of Kim Jong-il's son, Kim Jong-un, which looks definitely like Kim Jong-un, who's been unveiled for the first time in his adult life. Unveiled to the world for the first time in his adult life and is reportedly being referred to as the young leader.
Is it a North Korean magic eye picture? If you defocus your eyes, you can see a dolphin being oppressed.
My favourite moment of the whole World Cup was watching North Korea play Portugal on BBC Three, and throughout the entire game, there was a little caption in the top right-hand corner that just read, "Press red button now." I thought, don't tell them that.
Do you not think, everybody, that Kim Jong-il is beginning to resemble Bono quite a lot? A sort of weird little man with dyed hair and sunglasses, continually spouting dreams while the rest of his countrymen wish he'd just shut up and die.
I think they're very good live, actually. They're worried against them. They're very good on Wembley.
Is it the first publicity shot of the acrobatic troupe that won Korea's Got Talent?
I'll tell you what they're not called. They're not called Diversity. At the end of that round, the points go to Miles, Ed and Andy.
Not, I think, unreasonably.
Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is lines you wouldn't hear in a TV detective show.
The suspect has got a gun, but it's OK. Gaz has arrived and he's brought chicken and a fishing rod.
I'm not doing it. This is a midwinter murder. It's freezing. It's not in the contract.
And as you can see from the samples we've taken that we've scraped from under her fingernails, she was manky.
He were a policeman that got hit by a car and thought that he'd woken up in 1970. He were wrong. It were present day. This is CSI Hull.
Sergeant, if you look closely, there are semen stains all over these bed sheets. Let's book into the Holiday Inn instead.
Poirot, you've done it again. You've bored me shitless for the last 2 hours.
So that's it. At the end of a 3-month investigation, that is it. It's Colonel Mustard in the living room with a lead pipe.
Inspector, has anyone ever said that you look an awful lot like David Jason from Only Fools and Horses?
Yes, Miss Marple, we've had the lab results back, and it's very interesting. Actually, it's thrush.
He fits the profile. This is going to be a really boring episode of Hole in the Wall.
You're probably wondering why I've asked you all to gather here in the library. Sorry.
Probably wondering why I've asked you to gather in the library.
It's the TV presenter Noel Edmonds. Have you any idea why he was killed? It's the TV presenter Noel Edmonds.
Ken Stott is Detective Inspector David Sod in Sod's Law.
Well, we know now who's responsible for the killing. It's society, yeah? Yeah, you want to think about that, hmm?
The body is that of Eamon Holmes. We may need a little more chalk.
OK, the next topic is unlikely things to hear from a sports commentator.
So, just 80 metres to go, and the building of this running track will be finished.
And Ricky Hatton there, bleeding heavily from the nose. This boy really knows how to party.
And we're just getting the news that Usain Bolt's ankle isn't actually sprained, it's broken. So the only thing to do is to collect some of his sperm and then shoot him in the head.
Hello and welcome to Sky Sports, or if you're watching Sky Sports 3D...
Hello and welcome!
The smack of leather on willow as Sue Barker walks into a tree.
Meow! 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 The race hasn't started yet. I've just got a bit of a problem.
All of the drivers have their own little good luck rituals. This one's brought a tiny good luck troll. Oh, no, that's Bernie Ecclestone.
Well, we'll have to see what the referee gets out. I don't think any of us were expecting that.
Unfortunately, the Man United team have turned up with the wrong kit, so today they're going to have to play in their pants.
He's got his wood out and he's in a nasty bit of rough. He needs to get to the golf course as quickly as he can.
Well, I have to say, I do agree with the crowd. The referee is a wanker.
Welcome to Delhi for the shit pit. Sorry, the shots put. No, I was right first time.
You join me for the men's discus final.
Women's? That's not a woman.
And as the Derby winner is led out by his jockey, the sexual tension is almost unbearable.
So with 1 over to go, this next delivery could change everything. And it has. It's a no ball. I've won £400,000 and I'm off to the airport.
Oh, and that's a beautiful shot there on the black. I really should remember these boxers' names.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Ed, Andy and Mark. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Chris Allison, Hugh Dennis and Jack Whitehall. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Ed Byrne and Miles Jupp. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
Terry Wogan guests on The Rob Brydon Show tomorrow night at 10. No pressure there then, Rob. And there's more panel show comedy on BBC Three now. Simon Bird hosts The King is Dead.
Read all about it. It's a world.
And welcome to the last in the current series of Mock the Week, where over the last 2 weeks we've elected a new Labour leader, welcomed the Pope and won a lot of money on the cricket. Tonight we'll be looking back at some series highlights, outtakes and stuff you won't have seen before. Hope you enjoy it. In another news, what's made police officers in Sussex angry this week?
Oh, this is fantastic. There's a leaflet out telling them how to wear their uniform. Genuinely true, this. Apparently they've been told you've got to put your socks in and tuck your shirt in and then you'll catch the paddies. This is... It implies there are policemen in West Sussex walking around like this. We're going to get the bad man. Any second now, we're going to get the bad man, you know? I think it's great. I think we should do more patronising leaflets for them, you know? Wouldn't that be great?
Left leg, then right leg.
Yeah.
Then left leg. Quicker if he's running away from you.
But wouldn't that be great if it's really patronising? Going undercover does not mean turning up with a duvet on your head.
This is how it was reported in Metro. These are the photographs they showed. My favourite bit is your utility belt should only contain items issued by the Force.
A lightsaber.
A lightsaber, basically. Yeah, a lightsaber. Only a lightsaber.
Oh, that'd be great if you just had a tiny Yoda. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Actually, that sounds like a euphemism for a penis.
I have one. What else are they keeping in the utility belt? What else are they doing?
Mace.
Oh, I got some breath mints and some lube. Mind you, lube be useful enough. I can get you out of the crash car, but you will smell of sexy cherry for a while.
It's also saying the correct way to be a policeman is to be 2/3 of the size.
Budget costs you.
Yeah, smaller policeman,
Yeah.
easier to dress. I know that your PPV, which I think is personal protection vest, I think it's like the anti-stab vest, must be worn over your shirt. Now, I can see what the problem is here, because I'd imagine lots of them wore them under the shirt, so that people go, oh my God, you've been stabbed, and they go, no! Yes, the answer I was looking for was Blair's memoirs' incredible sales. This is a story that ex-Prime Minister Tony Blair has finally published, A Journey, his hotly anticipated account of his time in power.
But it's basically, he'd been accused of sexing up a dossier, and now he has sexed up a dossier, basically, You know, you went after he's going, oh, I devoured Cherie, or whatever it was. You weren't sure what he was going to put next, you know. I flopped out my weapon of mass destruction. And 45 minutes later, it launched.
What weakness does Blair reveal?
Mini baby bells. He can't get enough of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
No, he's drinking. It was really hilarious because he said, yeah, I was a bit of a drinker, but all he had was half a bottle of wine a night. My mate once got so drunk he woke up in a river.
This would be the worst AA meeting ever. It'd be so dull as well, because the other... OK, tell us about yourself. Well, Duncan's basically, you know, he's lost his kids, he's found himself homeless on the street. How about you, Tony? Well, first of all, hi, guys. Occasionally, I have a second glass of wine after dinner. Group hug.
Although, in fairness, his drinking did lead to invading a country.
Yeah, well, which makes the UN the international equivalent of a woman in a car park going, leave him, Tarek, he's nowhere there!
The UN made him the Middle East peace envoy after he'd started 2 wars in the Middle East. It would be like making the woman who chucked that cat in a wheelie bin an RSPCA inspector. As Prime Ministers go, it's nothing, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Churchill used to have a bottle of champagne for lunch, have another one apparently in the evening, have 3 scotches, 2 brandies and a highball. So you think, well, it's no wonder he didn't want to appease Hitler, was it? He was well up for a scrap, wasn't he?
Yeah, but to be fair, now, what people forget about Churchill, when Churchill was doing the we shall fight them on the beaches, yeah, he was 25 at the time. That lifestyle, he died at 32. That lifestyle really...
I'm surprised he didn't go, oh, we're going to fight them on the beaches and we'll fight them in the pubs, outside the pubs, in the kebab shops.
If they look at our women, we'll twat them there.
We're in a late-night garage and we want more fags.
Churchill, that he said later in life his greatest regret was never winning the Second World War. Didn't remember a thing.
He also, let's be honest, he looked quite like you.
And you are...
as an insult.
Say it in... No, he did. I'd say that as a compliment.
Yeah,
Try
you would take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
He was a
we will
big
fight them
man.
on the beaches.
Yeah.
Say that.
We will fight them on the beaches.
That sound like the Churchill dog.
It was Tommy Cooper. We will fight them. So what
Tommy Cooper.
No, tell me who is that? He goes,
I don't know
"Oh."
who that is, but I think they've usually got a carer with them.
Oh, yeah.
Say this. Never in the field of human conflict.
I'm not doing Churchill impersonations, Troy.
Do sexy Churchill.
Sexy Churchill. I will fight you on the beach. What on earth is this?
That's Kerry Katona, isn't it?
That is a badger that was found on the road and they haven't bothered to paint the white line over it. Which is massively oversensitive, because if there's one animal in the world that isn't going to worry about having a white...
Do you know the worst thing about this story? The worst thing? Bodger has to work on his own now.
Aren't there always gaps in white lines? I mean, that's what normally happens anyway. Is that always dead badgers? Is that the system? They're just going to put a dead badger down, move on the line a bit, and another dead badger then on.
I don't think you can really safely overtake within that gap. I know people who drive in the cruiser who would try to overtake within that gap. Here's a gap, quick! I probably had the badger got killed in the first place.
They avoided painting it, but if they did paint it, there'd also be a story. So I'm kind of in the middle of the road on this one.
I think what they should have done, right, they should have actually continued the white line, but round the outline of the badger like it was some sort of murder investigation.
Like this?
Yeah.
Very good.
I've actually eaten dead badger roadkill.
Have you?
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Shall I tell you what it I'll tell you what it tasted of.
What's the taste of?
Badger. No, I have. I had a meal of badger, I had otter in a meal called risotto, and I had blackbird rather, in a pie.
Oh, God.
It was really nice.
Is this when you were working in nursery rhymes?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I did for a programme.
I think
What programme was that? Let's make you eat weird shit.
It was a programme where you had to do things that you'd never done, and I said I'd never had roadkill, so I ate roadkill.
But hang on, I know the programme you mean. It's a programme where you're supposed to do things you've never done that other people have done, though. It was called Never Seen Star Wars, and then you were just slightly out of step with the population. You're not out of step with the population with having never eaten roadkill. I don't think that's what, he's never eaten roadkill? Oh, got a Lord Snooty over here. Fished his dinner off the tarmac once in a while.
No, it was nice.
In an effort to cheer up the badger, Paul Gascoigne was seen in the area with an empty bottle of Cava, a can of Spam, and a Savage Garden CD.
Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features the royal family.
Well, how you doing? How you doing? Well, what can I tell you? Well, the Democrats had a choice between a woman and a black man, and they went for the black man. Can you believe it? Well, I can't really believe that was the choice. Yes, well, how charming. Does anybody know who that was? Was that Judith Charmans? Bloody dreadful woman. Oh, hello, darling. Eyebrows still black, I see. When they go white, we'll know we're all in the shit. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God.
Oh, terribly sorry, I dropped my Oyster card. Anyway, can't wait, I've got to see the Queen, I think.
Hello, are you a giant?
Oh, God, I hate these things. Oh, God. So tedious. I'd much rather be doing something else, like shooting someone or... Oh, hang on. No, wait a minute. This is the guy I'm waiting for. I'm absolutely starving. I'll have 2 lamb sanders and a better iron. Then hurry up about it.
Philip, please, that is the President of India.
Yes, that's the restaurant we always go to.
These are the leaders of the free world. Please try not to say anything offensive.
Oh, I never do. What do you mean? Oh, my God, there are thousands of them. It's like bloody Dover. You can't come in here. We haven't got any room. We're a tiny country. What are you thinking of? Go... Oh, hello. Are you Korean? Yeah. I love your culture. Yes. Don't worry, I've locked up the corgis.
Well done, you. In a recent report, what has Britain come top in?
We're the fattest people in Europe.
Yes, you are. You are the fattest. I say you are. Ireland, number 2. Just behind you. Just behind you.
That's an example, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whenever they show fat people on the news, they never show their faces, do they? They always show them from the middle area. And you're thinking, if we're really trying to lose weight, maybe they should show their faces and go, look at this one!
Look at this one. This is a shaming of the obese. This one is very fat. Chase them! Chase them with sticks! And if they will not run, put Mars on the end of the stick and dangle it. Run them around in a circle like a horse training for dressage. Just slowly around and around the stick.
The point is, the supermarkets are saying we're doing everything to try and help people be healthier, and you think, no, they're not. The supermarkets couldn't care less. If they really cared about our health, they would give us trolleys which were harder to push to give us a cardiovascular workout, and they'd make the chocolate and biscuit aisle only a foot wide so fat people couldn't get...
In other news, why are Druids celebrating at the moment?
They're officially a religion.
Yes, they are.
It's a great... They've officially, but granted by the Charities Commission, they are now officially a religion, which makes you wonder what the problem was before, that they weren't, I don't know, wishy-washy enough to be a religion. Like, well, what do you worship? Nature. Nah, nature exists.
If they are legally now a religion, that presumably means they can set up faith schools.
Be fantastic.
Yeah, there'd be Druidic schools. Like, you'd have to move to the Stonehenge catchment area to get your child to a really good one. And it'd be the only school in the world where pupils would be actively encouraged to draw naked men with a big cock and ball.
You have all these middle-class parents trying to forge a letter from the local Wiccan shaman.
I once had a Druid who came to work in my garden, which is a bit weird. But he was 3 hours late one day to work in the garden, and it was the most brilliant excuse I've ever heard. He said, I would apologise for being late, but I'm afraid I don't believe in the concept of time.
Did you not point out that you were paying him by the hour?
I did, yeah.
The school I went to in Wiltshire is the site of Merlin's Mound, so it's like a big... on the solstice, all these Druids used to go there, and we used to obviously rip the piss out of them. And it was brilliant, because it happened every year. They were out, I'd be doing, like, science, and there'd be all these Druids, like, wailing and throwing their sticks in the air and shit like that. And we'd all be taking the piss. And one year, my teacher, a man that I respected, I was taking the piss out of all the Druids, and he said, Whitehall, I don't know why you're laughing. You know they like to sacrifice virgins. Boom! Boom! Unbelievable.
Top work. We gotta book that guy. Good. Why has health and safety been in the news this week?
Because Cameron says he's going to get rid of it.
Yes. Which came a little bit too late for BP.
Yeah.
It's a stupid thing to do, to try and get rid of health and safety, because essentially we have evolved ourselves out of a position where we have any natural predators. The only natural predators humans have are ourselves and peanuts. We're doing the best because we're stupid. Health and safety is getting in the way of evolution. 10,000 people last year in this country were admitted to A&E having injured themselves putting their trousers on. Right? They're firing themselves out of cannons into their trousers. They caught themselves in the zip, right? Which is hideous, yes, but at least they can't breed anymore. That is evolution, and health and safety will stop that.
Imagine making that phone call, though. Oh, got my dick in my trousers, and I want to sue. My trousers.
My old teacher's mate was testing some reinforced concrete cages. You know, reinforced concrete is cages with concrete covering it, and they show you the cage out the back, and he jumped off backwards, being a bit of a lad, and split up the front of himself, and didn't notice until a couple of seconds later when his bollocks fell out of his jeans. He drove himself to hospital, right? Holding his balls in one hand and putting them on his lap to change gear. He got to the A&E, and the woman said, "How can I help you?" And he went...
I bet there was somebody sat in A&E just eating a Scotch egg, like that.
I bet there's somebody in the A&E with a slightly hurt elbow going, I'm going to be longer than I thought now. I've been moved down by Mr. Hear Me Balls.
There was an incredible story about, well, it's not incredible, but about health and safety, that trainee hairdressers aren't allowed scissors. Which is pretty... Imagine that. What are they going to do? Just use their teeth? This is Sandra. She's going to chew your perm out.
In other news, which celebrity's voice has been voted top in a recent survey to find the nation's favourite sat-nav voice?
I think you're overselling this, but is it Sir Sean Connery?
It's supposed to be Sir Sean Connery, yes, there was some sort of poll.
Tell us about it, Tara.
Yeah, I don't really want to tell you about it. Who did he beat in second place?
He beat you.
He beat me. He beat me in second place.
That's it. And who was in third place? George Clooney.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, I beat Clooney. Yeah. Thank you. And he is gutted.
And Dara, how long has your mother been running these surveys? Why would you want Dara on your sat-nav? Well, never stop. You'd be like, turn left here, turn left, turn left. You want to turn left. You want to turn left. You want to turn left. You have to turn left there. You're going to turn left. What do you do, Brendan? What do you do? What do you do? You want to go straight over the end, but that's the second exit.
Yeah. My great problem is that I haven't been living here that long. I'd like to go, no, I don't know where that is, actually.
Do you know why I think you should have won? Because your name is an anagram of Aya Road Brain. Your name is an anagram of...
I a road brain.
I a road brain.
I a road brain.
Yeah, Mickey's looking forward to Carol Vorderman's warm-up act.
You know, I've not got a lot on at the moment.
This sounds a bit clang, I once got an email from Stephen Fry telling me that he was sitting in an airport in Africa, and did I know my surname was an anagram of Nairobi? It's very difficult to know what to write back. Thanks, Stephen.
You're very much mistaken if you think that sounds like a clanger. That sounds like a clanger.
OK, thank you. End of that. Stop being...
Sorry? Where's the soup dragon?
Yes, the question I was looking for was, how much time has Delhi had to prepare for the crisis-hit Commonwealth Games, which reports claim are still not ready? The city won the right to host the Games in 2003, but the build-up to the event has been plagued by fears that facilities and accommodation might not be complete on time and to a safe standard. So what's been going wrong?
Well, the ceiling of the weightlifting area collapsed. I mean, that's fantastic, isn't it? And there he is. He's holding up 200 kilograms and the roof!
Did you do what they had removed from one of the rooms in the Athletes' Village?
A snake.
A snake, a cobra, was in one of the bedrooms in South Africa. And they said, I don't know why you're worried. We gave you a basket and a small horn. You play the horn and the cobra will go back into the basket. A cobra! Like, that's a valid safety complaint, surely.
But it's a double whammy as well. You get bitten by a cobra, they give you an anti-venom, and then they disqualify you for having an illegal substance in your bloodstream.
What animals have been brought in?
Camels.
No, not camels, no.
Penguins.
Not penguins.
Bears.
No, monkeys.
Is it a narwhal?
It's not a narwhal. Stop naming random animals, right?
Is it a muskrat?
It's not a muskrat. I've already said the word monkeys while you carried on naming it.
Is it monkeys?
It's monkeys. Well done, yeah. It is monkeys. Trained monkeys have been brought in. Langur monkeys are called. And what are they there to do?
Move in sofas.
Yeah.
No.
Sell T-shirts.
No, they're there to stop other monkeys getting into the...
They're monkey bouncers.
They are monkey bouncers. They got a list of other monkeys.
Your species isn't down, you're not coming in.
No.
Why aren't they wearing...
And if you don't back away, I will fling shit at you, all right?
Because the plumbing's rubbish. They're there to test in case the baths are too hot. If they get in and they go... It could be neither, to be honest.
I was trying to think of what is the worst event, right, to do if you've got the shits, right? And I thought weightlifting. That has got to be the worst, isn't it? You know, you push up the whole idea that every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
So what's going on here?
Is it monkeys?
No, I haven't got to the them. They're going to show you a picture in a minute. They're going to show you a picture in a second. Julie, take Take the picture away. Take the picture away from them. They don't deserve it. Okay. Okay, at the end of that round, what the hell? Point for everyone. Come on back. Come on back. Get up. Out. How exhausted were you?
Can I do it without falling?
Yeah, you can do it without falling.
The gay is falling.
That's part of the thing. But yeah, of course.
Because it opens you... What?
What?
It's not earpiece, it's
My
falling
earpiece
out.
is falling out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, really? All this time have they been shouting? Oh, that's fantastic.
From underneath, they'll be going...
I thought it was elves saying...
Post! This is just introduction to old age for you.
Yeah. Next, you'll be losing your hair.
How's that?
He's only a guest! A very fine guest.
It's further part of the big society. If they're volunteering, you've got to give them some perks.
Yeah. My Peruvian boy down there is furious, aren't you?
So, the police have been probably... Stop it. We are genuinely filming this shit. Could you stop throwing stuff? I know it seems, you know, that you're not... I know this bit isn't all about you, but don't break open the sweets just yet, all right? OK. Were the police were having problems with the e-fit technology?
It was rude.
OK. Would it help you if half of the performers weren't eating bananas?
Hey with the monkeys.
Yeah. So seriously, you'd like the bananas to pause just for a second? Yeah. OK.
Have I supposed to put a banana on the shelf?
Jared, you'll get a banana. Oh, we'll get you some grapes. What greengrocers are we fucking turning into here?
Sorry.
My mouth. Oh, get it fucking down. Don't fucking hug me. Come on. No Russell Howard tonight, as he's off working on the next series of his own show for the BBC Three. But we start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question?
You said the BBC Three.
Shut up.
You did say the BBC Three.
Shut up, I'd like to get out of here at some stage
Well,
tonight.
maybe you shouldn't have upped it up then.
Nobody
Maybe you should have said either the
spotted
BBC or BBC Three.
I
no
call
one
it-
says the BBC Three.
I call it the BBC Three, right? I say...
Are you a big fan of the Oasis?
He's going to be shit as a sat-nav, isn't he?
Yeah.
Turn the right.
OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear at a party conference.
As a woman, I would give a different answer. But the operation's not for 3 months, so it doesn't...
It's Blunkett. Shh, he'll think we've all gone. I never really wanted to be Labour leader. It's just my parents always favoured my older brother, and I just wanted to piss them all off.
Right, so they always say start with a gag. So there's these two Muslim guys, right? I touched the mic. They told me off before for touching the mic, so you'll...
She told you off for touching Mike.
No. It's all wonky. Sorry, I just don't want to ruin... I don't want to ruin everything.
That has made all the difference.
Yeah, that's better.
I'm going home.
Sorry, Hugh.
Milk, bread, germaloids. I believe I have been reading from the wrong piece of paper.
I like to see myself as a perfect compromise between Ed Balls and David Miliband. I am David Milliballs.
Right then, conference, it's time to choose our new leader using the traditional method. Professor Dumbledore, pass me the sorting hat.
on, fellow Lib Dems. Say it with me. No, we can't. No, we can't.
All the pimps and hoes in the room, make some noise!
What do I think of the TUC? Let me tell you, they are some of my favourite cheese biscuits.
I am not in the power of the unions. There, I've said it, now let my children go.
It is not ourselves we have to convince, comrades. It is the British public, and they are fucking stupid.
OK, the next topic is things you wouldn't hear in a cookery show.
No, that's definitely a poodle.
Today, I brought along chicken tonight, but I'm going to have it tomorrow. Smash the system.
So finally, just pour on the milk, and there you have it. Cereal.
And remember, you must eat the brain to get their power.
A lot of people recommend washing your hands after handling raw meat, but it's just as easy to let a dog lick them or to wipe them on a relative.
Golden, relax. We're doing a bit of dinner, mate. You're not sorting out the Middle East here.
So just boil for 15 minutes, and if there's still life in her, she's a witch.
Welcome to It's Late and There's Not Much Left in the Fridge. Today we're going to be making onion double cream banana pasta ketchup.
The unique flavour of the sausages is from a recipe from my wife.
Sir, if you want to give your bar snacks that genuine pub feeling, why not sprinkle them with urine?
I'm Jamie Oliver, and in my new series, I'm going to be travelling the length and breadth of the UK in a VW camper. Welcome to Cock O'Van.
And believe me, these fried insect legs really are the bee's knees.
Today I'm going to be making prune and sweet corn chickpea couscous, because I like to give my bowels a challenge.
Next, the ginger pudding. Anthony Worrell Thompson, what are you going to be cooking for us tonight?
So, I've been beating away for half an hour, but I'm just lonely. Let's get on with the cooking.
Mickey and Andy. Stop those people now before they leave. They don't get to run away like that. Stop them at the electrified door.